Trenuj w sprzęcie dla najlepszych. Wejdź na groundgame.com.
Welcome back, Chris. I know it's been a little bit of a frustrating stretch, I guess, for you, the last couple results.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, what do you take out of that, right? Because, I mean, especially in the heavyweight division, right? It seems like you just go, well, it's heavyweight, but...
Shit happens, man. It's a heavyweight division. Just in fighting in general, you really can't, dwell on those losses. You have to take every fight as they come, and that's pretty much what I've been doing, just trying to do, especially with this fight. So whatever happens, happens. I'm definitely looking to win, obviously. I'm not trying to fly out somewhere and get my ass kicked, so definitely looking to fuck somebody up. So,
is it easy to do that, to have that mindset? I mean, I know you've been in more stressful situations in a cage fight. So, I mean, is it easy to move past it, or is it hard to not dwell on it?
No, I mean, after you lose, the first month and a half, I want to kill myself because it fucking sucks. Everyone's telling me how bad I suck, and everyone's just shitting on you because that's what people do. You're only as good as your last fight, and my last two fights have sucked. So, yeah, I mean, you just have to get through that. I mean, it sucks, but yeah, it's just you have to get through that, and that's what I've been working on that since my last one, and I'm here to change that.
Obviously, we were supposed to see you a couple months ago. There was a change in schedule. I guess what happened with the change in schedule? I don't think I saw what.
From the best of my knowledge and my team's knowledge, it was on his end. They asked for a different date, so I'm not one to shy away. I told the UFC that if they could find me a fight, instead of that one on the same day, I would do it. If I had to wait a month, I would do that. But the UFC seemed that they really wanted to make us two fights, so they pushed it to Saturday.
Is it a matchup that you like? I mean, were you like, oh, good, we get to keep it, or did it matter to you?
Doesn't matter. I honestly don't care who I fight. I could have a change in opponent for Saturday, and it's just another day. Doesn't matter to me.
What do you think about him as a fighter? I mean, obviously he's got a lot of power, but everybody does at heavyweight, right? So
Absolutely.
I guess, what do you think about him as far as danger-wise? How you guys match up?
He's definitely super skilled. He's definitely dangerous in a lot of positions. But, we've been working this camp to take away and limit that danger. I mean, that's really what I'm not going in there and banging it out with this dude. It's just that would be dumb on my part. If that happens, I failed at my job, and I should probably look for a new career. But saying that, I really do like this, but I like this matchup, but I just have to be smart about everything, as with all fights, especially heavyweights.
Last thing for me, I guess, the importance of this. I mean, are you putting extra emphasis on this means a lot to me, or is this just another fight?
This is another fight. Obviously, every fight means the world to you at the time. Everyone knows we're not employees by the great UFC, where they can cut us at any time, they can terminate a contract at every time. And I treat every fight like it's my first and last fight, because something could come up and they could be in a mood, or I could have said something, and next thing you know, I'm looking for a job. So,
Chris, to your right.
Yep.
I just, one question, just what you referenced about the people saying you suck and whatnot. Do you respond to that? Do you take time to say, anything to them, or you just ignore it?
No, I want to respond, but I know that that's what people want. They want you to get to respond. So I try my best to not respond at all. I mean, it's going to ruin my day. And my wife will be like, were you reading comments again? And I'm like, yeah, I was reading comments again. So yeah, I mean, but no, as far as actually physically replying to people, no. Unless they say some atrocious shit, I'm not replying to anything.
Thank you. There's in the front right here. Going off of that, Jared Gordon was here, and he said that he feels Americans tear down their athletes, while when you have guys like Khabib and Charles Oliveira and these guys, they have a whole country behind them, even when they lose. But for Americans, they just want to tear their athletes down. I'm curious if you agree with that statement as an American athlete.
Definitely that I feel that there's a bigger support for athletes who are not American, no matter what. It seems like the whole country rallies behind those athletes. A reasoning behind that, I couldn't tell you. I mean, maybe it's just the way that American sports fans are in general. Maybe we're super cliquey, take the NFL. If I'm from Philadelphia, I only care about the Eagles. Everybody else sucks. Dallas sucks. Really don't care about anybody else. Giants really sucks. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Anyway, but yeah, I think that we take that as putting that kind of mindset towards fighting. So, yeah.
Chris.
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good, man. First of all, are you happy that you're not in the main event? And you finally
Yeah, I can finally not worry about a 5-round fight. Training for a 5-round fight suck. I don't know if people have done it, but that shit fucking sucks. Like, don't do it.
What's the mind state like when, like, you quit your job as a police officer?
Yeah.
You get a salary, you're very comfortable,
Yeah.
and then you lose
Yeah.
two fights. Like, what's the mindset like?
Like, dude, you totally fucked up. Like, you probably should have stayed a cop. But no, I mean, this is what I wanted. This is really, what I've been striving for. It's what I want. I would rather do this, get my ass kicked, and question whether or not I have a job than to go back to the police department. I mean, I love the police department. I don't love the police department. I love the people I worked with. The whole bureaucracy and all that, that's a whole different story. But no, I really enjoyed the people that I worked with. But this is much better. I get to spend time with my family. I get to spend time with my kids. Like, this is living the dream for me. I get paid to get into fistfights. And yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world.
And finally, for me, there's this fascination. Can you make 205 or no fucking way?
No, I talked to my brother. I can make 205. But yeah, I've been speaking with nutritionists. I've been using, my brother uses John Poppy, who's out here in Vegas. He told me, obviously it's going to have to be a lifestyle change. Certain things would change. But if you guys remember when I fought in Abu Dhabi, I weighed in at 225. He said, if you come in fight week weighing 225, you can make 205, no problem. So that is an idea that's been floating around in my head, but we'll see where things go. I mean, is it always good to change weight classes? No. You have to take into account that the 205 guys are probably a little bit more technical than the heavyweight guys. Probably not hit as hard, certain people. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes. But as of right now, I'm staying at heavyweight, and I don't have any plans to go to 205. But unless something drastically changes in my life or career, we're staying here.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Of course.
Darren, I know media day is not always the most fun day of fight week, but I guess what is the emotion like finally, being back and just a couple days away from being in the cage?
It's good. I'm actually happy. Yeah, I don't know. You just get asked the same questions all the time, though, don't you? It's just like, I don't know, if you just have to answer the same answer all the time. Like, I don't know. It's good. I'm ready to fight Saturday, so let's go, innit?
All this, time that you've had away, I mean, was there ever any point where you thought, like, it's just not going to happen for me anymore? Like, why do I keep chasing this dream, and it's so hard for me? Was there ever any of that creeping into your mind?
No, definitely not. I'm in my 20s. I've been to the absolute peak of the sport. And, get knocked down 20 times, get up, always get up. So that's like, I feel like I've stayed true to myself. I'm not motivated by money or fame. I'm motivated by the goal I set myself. And, MMA is a unique sport. It's the only individual sport where the best fight the best, I believe. And MMA math makes no sense. When you're in that top 10, top 15, fighting all the elites, you lose one to him and he beats the guy who beat you, and it just doesn't make any sense. So it's just like, it's a fun sport. So it is what it is. What do you want me to say? I've fucking trained my bollocks off. I'm ready to fight Saturday.
You get matched up with Dricus. I mean, obviously, kind of newer to the organization. Were you familiar with him at all? Did you know about him as an opponent, or?
Yeah, I mean, like, he's been beating people. He's on a rise. Obviously, I'm the guy to take the fight. It's not like people. He's looking up. Like people say, I'm looking down. I feel like I'm looking up, and he could be looking down on me because he's the one winning. So it's just going to be a good fight. I don't think there's any smack talk to be said. He's fucking South African. I don't think they've even used profanity. So he's a nice guy. What am I going to say? It's a good fight, isn't it?
You pick up a win here. I mean, what is it go? Do you let yourself look forward? Have you kind of stopped like making advanced plans of like what comes next or what the plan is for next year? Do you still do that? What is it?
No, I've just trained hard. I've just trained really hard, as I always do for this fight. I've just come in prepared. I'm very, very prepared for this fight. I feel like I'm in the shape of my life, actually. I feel fucking really good. Like, I'm wanting more, even like this week when we're training. I'm like, I want more rounds. Like, my friend, Captain, last night comes into my room like 11:30. He was like, brother, please don't train in the morning. I was like, no, I've got to. He's like, you need to rest. I was like, okay. So I rested today.
Darren, obviously, if you look at yourself on your social media now, you can see what sort of shape you're in. You're in good shape. Compared to the Brunson fight, how much better are you feeling right
I'm in fucking phenomenal shape. Get a load of that, fella. Come on, get a load of that. We're ready.
Usually you save that for your OnlyFans. But how much better are you feeling for this fight than you were for the Brunson fight? Obviously, you went into that fight with an injury.
Yeah, I mean, I don't talk much about the injury. Everyone knows I was injured. I couldn't really do much for the fight. I just didn't want to pull out of the fight. That was the thing. Back then, and now I got a little bit of name that people say I always pull out, but I took that fight. I was absolutely fucked, and I'm not taking anything from Derek. He beat me fair and square, but I was only able to prepare for that fight in one way, and that was just a little bit of boxing pads and a little bit of like the bike. Like, you know, I've had a good camp this camp. I've trained really hard. I've had good partners. I feel like I think if you look at me, you're gonna look at me in the scale on whatever the weight is. Like, I'm gonna be looking like what I used to look like. So, you know, there's.
Why do you train in gloves that are like falling apart at the seams?
Oscar, I just don't give a shit. I don't really give a shit. I was walking in Thailand, the gyms every day. I didn't have no shin pads, no gum shields. I remember my first day when I got there, the likes of like Nemkov and that were on the mats, and I was like, I need to get in this class now and spar. And I had to learn shin pads, groin guard, gum shield, and then that was just a running joke then every day with the coaches. They were like, Till, you're like a UFC superstar. And I was just like, I just don't really give a shit. And then Cody seen me the other day and he was like, hook me up with some gloves. I suppose it's a good thing. It's humble, innit?
Did you have to apologise to Vittori for calling him a big stupid orc?
I thought that was going to be some beef on site. No, I didn't. I was doing my rounds in the cage. Me and like Arman Sarukian and all that were training together. And next minute, I seen this big dude wrestling the other side. I was like, who the fuck's that? And he turned around, I was mad. I thought, oh, no, I don't need this shit. We're going to be fighting right now. And actually, he's one of the most pleasant guys I've ever had the privilege of meeting. He's just a fucking pleasure to be around. Obviously, he's a hard worker. So from there, I had like 3-4 different gyms I was training at, and I just took him with me. I was like, come on, let's get the rounds in now. You tap me, I tap you. Who gives a fuck? You fucking kick me in the face, I kick you. Don't care if we're going to fight one day. Like, he's a guy I want to train with. And, we actually had a good time, and the day before I was leaving, I was actually training on my own, just getting like a lot of work and doing really training hard. And he was coming into spar, so I had time to sparring and stuff like that. Actually, really nice guy, very nice guy.
Do you feel bad about the things you said now?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Stop beefing with everyone, innit? Got too much beef on the go.
Darren, Stuart right here. We spoke yesterday. I wanted to say congratulations on having another child.
Yeah, thank you.
What is it like when you're doing, obviously, previous camps are hard enough, but especially when you've not only seen it once in the lead up to this, how's it been?
Yeah, I think Darren Till's matured a little bit, because I know I said a few years ago I don't care, but I've really missed like my family. Like, if you had asked me a few years ago what I want to do after this fight, I'd have said I want to go and party. I just want to get back to my family now and spend Christmas with my girls and my girlfriend. I've really missed them. It's really been a little thing about like the sacrifice for this camp as well, because I haven't been home, I haven't been anywhere. I've been in a secluded little place, just proper putting real work in, and I've only seen my newborn daughter one day, the day she was born. The next day I was on a flight, so it's been, I don't know her, I don't know the personality, so it's been quite tough. Big sacrifice, so Saturday will hopefully show her all that as well, and I'll get back to my family. I can't wait to see them.
Do you have any plans as like a family to do anything around Christmas, or just relax?
I'm 30 on the 24th of December, so they're all trying to get me to like book a party. I don't want to. I just want to get home, and like you know, I've got a fucking house I'm proud of there. I just want to chill in my house and just watch Christmas films with my kids and just watch them be happy. That's all I want right now. I just want to fight, get home for my family, and just I want to live a pure life.
And finally, from me, good training partner of yours. You spent a lot of time in his camp, Brendan Loughnane.
Yeah.
Just won a big million. I think he'll be here to watch you, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, he'll be here, mate. He'll be sharing the million out. Don't get it twisted.
What are your kind of thoughts on, you know, that he's had such a long journey and now he's a millionaire, right?
Yeah, I mean, fucking hell, he's a millionaire. He's a millionaire. He's not in the UFC. It's like he's in another organisation. It's a bit wild, but I'm so happy for him. He's a fucking genuinely nice guy. And at the end of the day, I'll put it out there for him. He is one of the best featherweights on this planet, trust me. I've seen him absolutely mauling everyone out in Thailand. And there is the highest level you will get there. And he's, I don't know what's next for him. He's coming here. He's helped me. I've helped him. I hope he makes the right decision and starts. He's fucking, honestly, I was so happy seeing him win that fight. Yeah, I'm really happy for him.
Cheers, Darren.
Darren, in the front right here. You had shared a photo. It looked like an injured eye in October. Like, what exactly happened with that?
I was wrestling on the mat and I shot for a takedown. I don't know why I'm doing that, but it's like the worst thing that ever happened to me. Like the guy's middle finger, I felt it go to the back of my brain, and like I actually tried to carry on wrestling after it. Everyone was like, Anatoly, who's just won in the one championship there, he was like, sit down, sit your ass down. And then it actually got worse as the days went on. And then I was actually worried. I was like, oh, I can't pull out of another fight. I got a problem. But then it got better, and it's fine now. But it was one of the worst eye pokes I've ever had in me. Like probably anyone's will have ever seen. It was really bad, like when it happened. But it's a part of camp, innit?
So when you shared that photo, did all the comments come in saying? Like,
I actually didn't share it. When I share shit, I don't think. I've had to start thinking a bit more now. But I just shared my week of training. I was in like the ice bath and stuff like that, and that eye picture was on my phone because I sent it in the group. I was like, oh, post that. And then my partner, Christian, was like, oh, Chael said you're posting that to pull out the fight. I was like, what the fuck does that conspiracy theorist know? So, like, I don't know, man. Don't know.
And your opponent, Drickus, was in here earlier, and I know you said there's no, like, trash talk or stuff. I think he was just trying to build himself up. He said if Darren doesn't have an injury coming into this fight, he'll have one leaving this fight. Do you think that's just him trying to build himself up in his mind, or do you think actually mean
that's not trash talk? So, like, I've told you, mate, these South Africans are they've never used profanity in their life, so you can't trash talk me. He's meant to say these things, you know. Like, I know he's prepared and he's a solid challenger, but we'll see, innit? We'll see.
Darren?
If he wants to get into it, though, mate, I'll ruin his life on social media. Don't get that twisted.
Do you regret taking the Derek Brunson fight?
No, I don't regret a thing I've done in my life. I feel like it leads you to the path you're meant to go on. Like, I feel like this year, what I've been through and what like I'm sitting here now, I just feel like I'm a very matured, like, Darren. So I feel like everything you do in your life, no matter what it is, fighting, your personal, I don't think you can have any regrets, man. So I don't regret it now. It might have been a bad decision, but I don't regret it.
With that being said, like what's the mindset and mind frame like going into a fight, finally healthy, having a nice training camp, being secluded? Like, what's the mind frame like?
I don't know. You sit there at night when you're done, and you think about things, don't you? It's very hard to explain. I don't know how I can explain it in the right terms. It's very hard being a fighter. You have a lot of emotions and stuff like that. You have to bottle a lot of things up, and people say to me, oh, people will go, like, people and fighters will say, oh, well, he seems edgy, he seems this, that. It's fucking fighting. When you get in there, it's totally different, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. It's a roller coaster, innit? I'm just happy to be on it, and
Drickus earlier said that he had to take time to become a middleweight. And he said that he didn't want to be a welterweight fighting at middleweight. Do you feel finally that you're a middleweight now, or do you still feel like you're a welterweight fighting at middleweight?
I don't know. I think, like, I took my picture next to Marvin. I don't think he was considerably heavier than me. I don't think there's much difference. Have tremendously big legs. Maybe that was a big part of the struggles at welter. I don't know. Because I think what I lack, especially now, the shape I'm in, my speed's phenomenal. Like, I'm very quick. So, I don't know. Drickus is big and powerful, and I'm quick and sharp. So, we'll see, innit? I can't wait. Honestly, I can't fucking wait to fight, I swear. I wish there was some beef this week, because there's not. No beef.
And then finally, for me, what's it feel like fighting on a card with Paddy Pimblett? I know that the fans are very happy.
It feels great. It feels like. $4.2 billion, and they can't even sort this shit out. It's done, yeah. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it feels like with me and him, the main attractions on the card. I know he's got a lot of hype now. I'm happy for him. So it feels like me and him it is the Scouts takeover. So yeah, we are going to take over on Saturday. Can't wait for the after party.
Awesome, thanks, man.
Hey, Darren. how important is it for you to be able to compete on the London card in March after missing the last 2 trips to the UK this year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to take it as an obligation. It'd be great to fight on Saturday and then be healthy enough to fight in March. I think that's a good time frame. So yeah, I mean, I've only just seen they've announced it, so obviously I think Leon's going to be the main event. So we'll see. It should be a big card with the buzz in England talent we've got at the moment, you know what I mean? And even maybe Brendan could get on there, so it would be good.
I asked Paddy who would have the better after party, him and Molly or you and your BFF Hamza. He said Paddy and Molly. Do you agree or do you disagree?
Most probably, I've changed a little bit now. It's like maybe a few years ago it'd have been me getting locked up once again. Everyone knows what time it is when I go mad, but I don't book after parties or nothing. I just want to I've got a big family to provide for. I've got 5 girls running around, you know. They're actually my life right now. Obviously I have a little bit of fun and that, but yeah, I think they'd probably beat me.
I know you're very motivated. You had to bring your team with you. Do you feel guilty at all that you took away your cornerman Sam Cassidy from your teammate Ty Emery, who also fights on Saturday?
No, Sam's been he's been a diamond. We've had I've been saying it's outside MMA. He's been great. He's been great. So yeah, no, don't feel guilty about none of that.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
One last one, Darren, actually. Dana White says he wants to book Hamzat.
Turn it in, Oscar. Go on, what?
Dana says he wants Hamzat versus Colby. I'm curious what you think that fight would look like, and what would the trash talk look like? Is Hamzat the kind of guy who can hear what Colby says and not run across the stage?
I think that's a very good fight. I do, because people don't see a lot of Colby like in the news and media. But I know he's a guy who in secret trains really fucking hard, and I know he's really disciplined. I think if them two to fight, I think Hamzat would be he'd overpower him. I do think I believe his striking's better, and I think when it comes to the wrestling, I do think he'd be the powerful one. But obviously, it'd be over 5 rounds. He'd have to be fully prepared. So yeah, the trash talk as well. His English is getting phenomenally better. Obviously, me and him speak on the daily, so he's got that Scouse twang, hasn't he? So yeah, it'd be a good fight. It would be a really good fight.
Rodriguez back in Las Vegas, but on the pay-per-view main card this time. I mean, soak it in. Got to get that social media post.
That one is for the personal use only.
All right, but back in Las Vegas, pay-per-view main card. I mean, does this feel like a big moment in your career?
Well, I mean, finally I got that main card. Well, I mean, I guess it was by a default. It wasn't like something had to happen, but like I was like, are they really doing this? I think it was an inside joke for the UFC after a while. I was like, come on, why are you guys doing this? I've put up 3 amazing performances, still on the undercard, but here I am. The universe works the way it should. The plan has already been written, and here I am on the main card of this massive final pay-per-view event. How amazing to be at T-Mobile. I can't wait to go out there and perform on the main card.
You were just wishing ill will on somebody on the main card so you could get your spot?
No. Good fortune on myself, no ill will on somebody else's spot. How it works out, that's not up to me.
But obviously joking, but seriously, were you kind of a little bit like, why are they not putting me on main cards? Like you said, you were turning in great performances.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm a very optimistic guy, so I just told myself they need to sell these prelims as well, so that's why they keep me on there.
Nice. What do you think about the matchup when they announced Darren Till? Obviously a big name in the sport. He's had some inconsistencies lately, but what did you think when this was the opponent given to you?
Yeah, as soon as they, there was a little bit of talks. I mean, it was weird how this fight played out. I got a call before the September event. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but so I got a call saying, listen, will you fight Darren Till in 3 weeks? So this is, like I said, I don't think a lot of people really knew about this, but September when comes out the Diaz fight card, 209, right? No, it was, what was the fight? Well, no, it wasn't 209.
279.
279, 209. Diaz.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah. But, so they phoned me on 3 weeks' notice before the fight, and they said, listen, but I'm talking about late night. So Cameron, they were here at the Contender Series. So Vegas time, 11 p.m. my coach and assistant knows that I'm asleep by that time on the phone. I answered, and they said, "Will you take a fight against Darren Till in 3 weeks' time? What's your weight?" And I'm like, "My weight's irrelevant at this stage. I'll take the fight." And I struggled. I had a little bit of niggles, and wasn't really in a fight camp at all. And I said, "Cool, let's do it." And they said, "Cool, we'll hear back from the UFC tomorrow." I have no idea where this information came from. I have no idea what's up. And they went by, nothing happened. Day 2, they said they haven't gotten back to us. They haven't gotten back to us. And that's when I went on saying, "Hey, listen, Darren, you want to do this in September? Let's do it." Because I couldn't wait anymore. I was like, "Listen, I want to know if I'm fighting." Because now I'm really dieting very hard, and I'm training hard, which I always do. But I want to know, is this happening or not? And he said it was too short notice. And that was weird for me because I'm like, the short notice, I thought I was the short notice replacement. But he accepted the fight, and that's how this whole thing came about. And as soon as we signed the fight, so many people went, "Oh, he's going to pull out of the fight," which I understand. I mean, the track record doesn't look great, but I just had this feeling in me since day one, this fight will happen, and this will be the biggest name that I beat this far in my career.
I was going to ask you about that. So as you were preparing, did you ever have worries like, "Hey, we better be ready, to change or to pivot because we might end up with somebody else"?
Not at all. I mean, obviously, as soon as the fight came about, that was something that was mentioned. I was like, "Well, guys, that's something out of my control. I can't be worrying about that." So many people on social media, fans, just everybody saying, "Oh, Darren Till's definitely going to pull out. Like, don't even worry about it. He's going to pull out." I'm like, "What do you want me to do? Do you want me to not train?" I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'll make sure I don't train just because if he pulls out, I don't waste my time." No, that's not the way it works. I'll find a replacement. If it needs to happen, it will happen. That never crossed my mind during the camp because that's outside forces I can't control. I was focused on what I have to do to be ready to fight on the 10th. Whether it was Darren Till or whether it was the champion that stepped in there with me, I was ready for whoever, whenever, on that date.
Nice. Last thing for me, as you said, biggest name, big opportunity here, a victory. What do you feel like you deserve? Because it feels like it has been a little bit of a slow play despite what you've been accomplishing. So do you feel like this is the moment people recognize you as a legitimate contender and they're talking about you in that way?
I think, firstly, this will be the moment where everybody gets my name right. But this is a big step up. I think this is where I wouldn't have gotten this opportunity if they didn't think I was ready. I know I'm ready, and this is, like you said, this is the one fight, like the previous one, that was a big step up for me. This is the next step. This is the next step towards becoming the champion and fighting the best of the division. Darren Till being one of the best, being absent for a while, not at his best of performance, but it's still Darren Till, and we've seen him show up and being one of the best fighters in the world and showing up and being one of the worst. I prepped for the best Darren Till we've ever seen. I've prepped for a Darren Till that would beat the best Darren Till we've seen before. And this fight will prove that I'm not only ready, but I'm something to be worried about when it comes to the top dogs of the division.
Drake's in front right here. How do people pronounce your name wrong? What are they saying?
Well, Driscus, Duplessis, Drykus, like people are butchering it, but I have to say, I'm sorry, American media butchers it. Like when I fought in Europe, there was no problem at all, but it's Dricus Duplessis. That's the name. But it's gotten a whole lot better. It's gotten a whole lot better since the first fight because that was crazy. But now people are getting it much better. But I believe after this, there will be no mistakes made no more.
In Darren's last fight against Derek Brunson, it came out that he had fought that fight with like a torn ACL or something like that. Is there any fear that he's pushing himself into this camp also with like a serious injury too like that? Because he didn't pull out with that.
Well, that's his problem, to be honest. Whether he has an injury or not, it's going to be the same thing. Like I always say, you can be an asshole, you can be the nicest guy in the world. I'm going to go out there, try to knock you out, try to rip your neck off, try to rip an arm off, try to beat you as hard as I possibly can. It's nothing personal, it's just business out there. So, if he's carrying some injury, I mean, I don't know. He's definitely going to be carrying one after the fight.
That's cool. And there's obviously been a bit of a shakeup at the top of your division. You have a new champion. Hamzat might even come up. He's talking about that. Alex Barrera said he'd fight Hamzat at 205 in Brazil. So what do you make of the new champion and all of this new addition at the top?
You know, if Hamzat is such a badass, I'll fight anyone, any time, any weight. Why didn't he just fight the champ at 205? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's a big relevance game that he's playing, even though he is a very relevant guy in the UFC at the moment. He's not going to get a title shot. Well, he shouldn't. I mean, if that's what the company decides, it is what it is. That's not my concern. I said it. You know what happens at the top right now, at the titles, that's not my concern. I'll worry about that when I get there. Right now, what I'm concerned about is getting into that conversation. So whether they fight about who gets the bone and I come and I take it anyway, that's all I'm concerned about. So, you know, big shake-up with the champion change. That was one of those fights where I always have a prediction on fights. It's tough, and there's tough fights to call, but with this fight, it was one of those fights where I had pros and cons for both guys, and it was so back and forth. Even me and my friends, me and the team spoke, and it was really one of those special MMA fights where you just had to wait and see what happens. Because it wasn't like, is this going to be a classic striker versus striker that ends up in a grappling and wrestling match? And we almost saw that. But they did such a great job in that fight. I mean, Izzy was forced to fight a fight that he hasn't fought in a very, very long time. You know, he was almost laying back just defending his belt for quite a while. And this fight almost had him step out of his comfort zone. He had to step out of his comfort zone because Alex wasn't afraid to go forward and wasn't afraid of his striking. And you know, with Alex, he was forced to wrestle a guy that's not a wrestler or a grappler. And, you know, both of them showed. I mean, Alex got that beautiful takedown on Izzy that Robert Whittaker couldn't get on Izzy. That, you know, the top, Yoel Romero couldn't get on Izzy. That some of the best wrestlers, we consider the best wrestlers in the division, couldn't get it. So, great on him. So you can see how the sport's developed. But, you know, great. So we have a change of champions. I think there will be, honestly don't think Pereira will be as dominant as Izzy has been as a champion. I think for him, this was such an important fight for his legacy as a combat sports athlete. And this really has proven him to be really one of the best combat sports athletes to ever do combat sports. So good on him, great on him. But, you know, like I said, to me, it's all about who has the title once I get into the conversation. That wouldn't be too far away, I hope. And after this fight, you know, who I'll call out, I'm not sure. It seems like everybody's booked, right? But yeah, for me, the top right now doesn't concern me. What concerns me is what's happening in the top 10 up until I get to that top discussion. Then I'll start worrying about who's getting unfair advantages and all that kind of stuff.
And finally, I'm sure you saw Dana White's post-fight press conference after Israel's fight. He said that his priority next year is UFC Africa. That is at the top of his list. So what did you make of when you heard that?
So happy you asked that. He talked about Nigeria. He talked about, was it Uganda? I think Uganda. I have to be honest with you. That makes no. And he did say they haven't done the research enough. They haven't done enough research to say, okay, we're doing it in Nigeria. But even Nigeria, there was a Nigerian reporter that said, sorry, we do not have the infrastructure for this.
Even Israel said it probably wouldn't happen.
It can't happen. If they're going to do it in Africa, there's only one place, and that's South Africa. South Africa is going to be the host of the first UFC Africa event. Write that down, because I know it, I can feel it. And I'm telling you, I mean, we have Cape Town. We've hosted a Rugby World Cup. We've hosted a Soccer World Cup. We have exactly what it takes to host these events, and it's a beautiful country, and I would love for the UFC to come there and be one of the guys that maybe is one of the reasons they do decide to go to South Africa. And Saturday night, I'm going to make them seriously reconsider and make the decision much easier for them to take this to South Africa. And there's no other country in Africa better than South Africa to host this event. They have to, and make sure, like, we have the infrastructure, we have the stadiums, we have the arenas, we have everything we need to host this event.
Right here. You said earlier, Darren, just going back to Darren Till, you said that sometimes he looks like the best fighter on earth, sometimes he looks like the worst. From what you've watched of him, why is that? Is that something his opponents do, you feel like, that throws him off, or is it just something he comes into the cage with and he's either on or he's off?
Yeah, I think he's in his own head. I think Darren Till is, when he started out, he was extremely motivated. I think he was a force at 170. He was a big 170. He was imposing his style on people. Once you get to the big boys in middleweight, it's a complete different story. And obviously, speaking as somebody who fought 170 and then came to 185 myself, that was harder work than actually cutting the weight. Because I had to take a very long time. I took almost a year of competing completely to become a 100% 185 fighter. I didn't want to be a welterweight fighting at middleweight. I had to become a middleweight. And that's where I think he messed up. I think he saw the move up to 185 as, I can let it down. I don't have to eat as perfect. Those sessions where I really don't feel like I don't have to do the extra work because my weight's going to be fine. You know, when you're cutting that weight, you almost feel obligated because if you don't go do this session, you're not going to eat. I think he took the move up as almost an easier route. And that's not the case at all. We hit a little harder. Everybody's a little stronger at 185. And I believe that was where the big mistake came. And then, of course, Darren Till losing the big fight against Masvidal, getting back against Gastelum was not an amazing performance, but he got the W, and then getting those losses, definitely the mental aspect, that's where his biggest downfall came, and I don't think he recovered from that. I think that's where he's his own worst enemy.
Dracus over here. To go back to UFC Africa, is it a little frustrating that it has taken them a minute because as of right now, there's only one African champion. When the year started, there were 3. Is it a little frustrating that it's like, you know, hey, it might have been even bigger, you know, had they done it a little sooner?
No. Next year, we'll have an African champion residing in Africa, so that's going to be amazing.
Hey, Dracus. One of the young athletes to kind of make an impression this year in MMA is Cameron Simon. I was just wondering if you had any insights that you could share with us on him.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised at all. You know, he went out there and he did what he does. I mean, the kid's he's amazing. I trained with him. So how our relationship started, he was 13, turning 14. I was 20, turning 21. When we first met, he walked into the gym. We weren't really a commercial gym at all then, CIT. And he wanted to train, and I said, but there was some circumstance. He said, cool, he wants some private lessons, but he wants to train with me specifically. And I said, cool, I'll do an hour twice a week. And it was almost like, you know, after recover, I didn't want to give this session. And after the first day, giving him some instructions, I could see this guy, like, he did what he had to. He went home and he worked on it second. And then we started prepping for, I started coaching him. After like 2 months, we started prepping for the national championship, K1 kickboxing national championships. Got second place the year after that. So now he's 15 years old. He got first place. And at 16, you're allowed to legally fight amateur MMA in South Africa. And we started prepping for his first fight. He went 6-0. Then he went over to seniors at 18, became a champ there, and then we moved him up to the pro team, where he trained, not coaching him. Now we are training partners. And he's always been like, you know, that's why I saw him. I saw a lot of myself in him, that nothing else in the world really mattered than becoming a champion in MMA. The same with me. That is my life goal. That is my life's purpose. And the same with him. And now we are friends and training partners. We still have a mentor and student relationship in a way, but not in MMA anymore, more in life because I'm a little bit older. But now we are more friends than anything else. But this guy is amazing. He's putting in the work. You saw for yourself, the boss man, Dana, saw it. He's an amazing fighter, and I think we're in for a big treat for what his career holds, and I think he's going to do amazing things. I know he's going to do amazing things come Saturday night. I know it.
What do you think's been the biggest development in him since you first came across him at 13, 14 years old?
Mentally, I think he was a happy kid, just the same as I was when I started this. Just a happy guy, just want to be there, and then all of a sudden taking this seriously, realizing it's not only fun and games, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's a lot of sacrifice. And now that he's a little bit older, now he's turning 22 years old, he's even experienced some of these sacrifices, losing people close to you, losing friends, losing your comfort zone because you're missing stuff because you have to make those sacrifices to be in the UFC. And he got his opportunity and he made the sacrifices, and that will pay off. That's how it works. You get out what you put in, and he's putting everything in there.
Dana White called him the future. Do you kind of agree with that? Like, how high is his ceiling?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the guy's he's turning 22 in a couple of days. I mean, he looked incredible. The big lights didn't bother him. He fought like we know he can fight on his first appearance in front of boss man Dana White. For everybody, that's a pinnacle in your career, is getting the shot to fight in front of the biggest promotion, fighting for a contract. He thrived under pressure, and that's a big thing, is being able to have that BMT, that big match temperament, showing up when you have to, and he obviously has that. So, as far as his ceiling is, I mean, being a 2-division champion, maybe even 3, I don't know.
Thanks, Drickus.
I guess back to 145, I mean, did it require any changes or any adjustments, or did you just know that was the move you were going to make?
So in reality, I moved up to the lightweight division before because no one wanted to fight me in 145, so I had to move to stay active, and now I'm coming back for the division.
It worked out pretty well, though, at 155. Was there any part of you that's like, hey, maybe I am a lightweight. Maybe this is the division for me?
Yeah, when I'm going to finish all the business I have in 145, I want to move up to 155 because I know I can put everyone to sleep. I can finish anyone.
Well, this matchup, I think for the hardcore fans, it's probably one they're looking forward to most. I mean, when you got this matchup, did you get excited? Is it the type of fight that actually gets you, motivated?
Yeah, of course. It gets me motivated when they call me and tell me that I'm going to face someone undefeated. So it's a good motivation for me. And I know that someone's going to lose, he's undefeated, and it's not going to be me.
When you saw the card come together, was there any part of you that was like, do you really have to put me on a Paddy Pimblett card? Like, can I not be...
Oh, I don't really care about that, fuck him.
Do you worry about, like, crossing paths? Like, am I going to have
no.
to deal with it? Is it just a distraction,
So when someone cross out the way, I went the last 2 days ago to the PI. They take him from the back door. He's not coming to the hotel, so why? Because he's scared, so fuck him. I'm not bully, So if someone is trying to avoid me, what can I do?
Right. Well, right now you got to focus on Bryce, of course. 2 undefeated guys. I mean, how good do you think Bryce is? I mean, is he as good as that undefeated record suggests?
Yeah, he's undefeated for a reason. I'm undefeated for a reason too. So he's got grappling skills. It's really good, but mine's is even.
It's a grappling match, which I think a lot of people want to see, or do you think the grappling cancels out and you guys end up standing and trading?
Of course not, because he's don't going to be able to take me down, and I'm going to strike with him because I'm way better than him in the striking. So I'm gonna put his lights out on Saturday night.
Last thing for me, you do that, it'll be a big statement. What do you think comes next? I mean, how fast can you rise up to the very top of this division?
I think after this fight, I'm going to face someone from top 5. Probably, from top 5. And I want to fight for the title as soon as possible. Yeah, and then move up to 155 maybe. We'll see what's going to happen.
Ilya, in front right here. Obviously, you and Bryce are both undefeated, but what do you think his past opponents are doing wrong that maybe you can capitalize on?
So his last opponent was Edson Barbosa, right? So he's a striker. Always we see him fight against a grappler. He always suffers, With Khabib, he suffers. With So it didn't surprise me, you know, when I see his fight against Bryce Mitchell. So I grow up in the ground, you know. My background is BJJ and wrestling, so he didn't gonna surprise me with anything he gonna bring on Saturday night. So I know what's gonna happen. I know that I'm gonna put him to sleep, and I think he already knows it too.
So what did you think of when he posted that video in response to you that he was eating peanut butter cookies and stuff?
So he responds me 1 week before he was supposed to fight. So the 99% of the featherweights are not able to make the weight in 1 week, you know? So he was thinking that so I wouldn't be able to make the weight, and he was right, because I can make the weight in 1 week. And why I have to do it, you know? Why I have to try to kill myself? So I decided to fight in different date, and on Saturday we're gonna fight him.
Hola, hermano. Bryce recently said that he will beat you up and that will not help his career because of your ranking. Are you taking this personally?
I don't even listen to what he says, you know. I don't give a fuck about him.
Bienvenido, man. Regresas aquí a Las Vegas. Y aparte la categoría de peso pluma, ¿cómo ha estado tu campamento para esta pelea y cómo te sientes regresando aquí a Las Vegas?
Pues la verdad que el campamento ha sido larguísimo, porque estaba programado para pelear en julio, después que en agosto, después que en octubre, que iba a pelear con Edson Barbosa. Luego al finales de septiembre se me ha cancelado la pelea, y finalmente Bryce Mitchell. El peso va mejor que nunca, la preparación ha sido un campamento durísimo donde entregué todo lo que estaba en mis manos, ¿no? Le di todo a este campamento, mi cuerpo, mi alma, mi dinero, le puse todo. Entonces es inevitable que no salga victorioso.
Just for everyone, tough camp, one of the toughest camps I've ever had. I gave my heart, I gave my all, I gave everything. I was ready. I'm ready for it. The original question was about the camp. How's this camp been? It's been a long camp and a tough camp, and I feel ready than ever.
¿Ha sido complicado tantos ajustes por los cambios de oponente o es algo que anticipas y es parte de ser arte marcial?
Es parte de este juego, ¿sabes? Cuando tú quieres ser el mejor del mundo, no importan los nombres. Al que te pongan por delante, pues los vas aceptando. Lo importante es que a los rivales que te vayan a poner te ayuden a escalar para que puedas obtener esa pelea por el título lo antes posible. Y esta pelea obviamente me ayuda.
Any difficulties of the fact that the change of opponents, actually this is part of the game. If you want to be a champion, you have to be ready for all those changes, and whoever is put in front of you, what you have to do, what matters is the people that they put in front of you need to help you move up in the rankings. So you have to be ready and just continue to camp as it is.
Gracias, bien, y buena suerte el sábado.
Gracias.
Ilya, right over here. Obviously, as one of the top prospects in the sport, there's a lot of attention. But being on the younger side, you are still growing as a martial artist. What part of your game are you most proud of that you've been able to improve since you've been in the UFC?
So, without any doubt, my background is, like I said before, it's wrestling and jiu-jitsu. And the people think that I'm a striker because I improved a lot. But in reality, my background is wrestling and BJJ, so I'm very proud that I have improved so much in my striking game that the people is confused right now, that they don't know if I'm a striker or I'm a wrestler or BJJ guy. So proud of that.
Bryce is very unique in that he's one of the few fighters who gets custom shorts. If you were to get custom shorts, what would they look like?
I don't need custom shorts.
Thank you.
Ilya, in the back here for you. Just kind of wondering, you said grappling is your base. We know that's Bryce's base. Would there be more for you out of knocking him out or submitting him?
For me, the most important is to get the finish, you know, to finish him at the first round. Because I don't want to get inside that cage and do a boring fight, you know. I know that I'm going to get that win, but I want to make him look easy. This is my goal. My goal is to shine inside that cage. It's not just to go in and get a normal win, you know. I want to shine, and I know that I'm going to shine.
You know, it's been a little bit of a difficult stretch with some setbacks and some cancellations and reschedules stuff. I guess just how challenging has the last year or so been for you?
How challenging? It was heavy. It was difficult, but it is what it is. Life goes on, and so is my career. I'm here again, so I'm happy that it's fight week. Saturday, I'm definitely going to put down a crazy performance. So.
We know we're supposed to see you in October. The fight got moved. Chris wasn't really sure why. Can you explain what happened that it had to be moved?
Yeah, I got hurt in training, and I need more time, so that was it.
Nothing major. That only 2 months.
Thank God.
Was it important to you that the matchup stayed together? Like, is it a fight that you really were interested in, that you still fight Dawkins?
I mean, its opponent is a heavyweight division. He's ranked, so it's important. The fight's there. We're going to do it this Saturday. Yep.
He was here earlier, and he said, look, I'm not going to stand and trade with them. That would be silly of me. I mean, is that kind of how you expect everybody to go when they fight with you, to know that they're probably not going to want to trade strikes with you?
I think he's a smart man not to do that, and definitely I don't want to do that, so I will see.
Last thing for me, I mean, are you putting any more importance on this than any other fight? Like, I really have to get a win, or is that not a good way to think of things?
It's always things like that. I want to win and give everything that I have, especially in my camp, and then fight night, you want to do everything, especially you train for, so it's always important.
Jarzinho. All right, here. A few years ago today was your fight with Alistair Overeem, the anniversary, and all the photos of, the nasty lip splitter coming up. What do you just kind of remember from landing that punch and, the instance of all the damage it caused there?
I think from that fight, the most important moment was when coach was screaming, it's the last 15 seconds, you got to knock him out, if not, we lose the fight.
Do you think that's, everyone talks about these crazy corner moments and the comebacks. We just saw it, with Alex Pereira winning the belt and stuff. Do you think that's an underrated one, what your team did for you in that moment in a fight you were down on in the scorecards?
No, definitely. I think it's important that your corner remind you what you're capable of and maybe when to throw it, to use the weapon.
When Curtis Blades fought Dawkins, he said that he felt like he should be a light heavyweight. He said he's very small heavyweight. When you see him, do you think Chris maybe is too small for heavyweight when you see him next to heavyweight?
I'll not say that. I'll see this Saturday how it feels, and then, yeah, we go from there. I don't want to say anything,
Then last one for me. Obviously, you're named after the legend, Jairzinho. Have you been watching Brazil in the World Cup, and what do you think of their chances?
Every game. I've been there, yeah. He's doing amazing, so now we don't count the game with Cameroon. Yeah, no, it was Senegal. Yeah, we don't count that game, but that's fine. But I'm watching soccer for sure.
Jarzinho, there's another UFC fighter who's very good at chess, Roman Dolidze. What's it going to take to get a Jarzinho versus Roman chess match going?
Interesting. I'm in, so whenever he's ready.
Awesome.
Good morning.
But Jan, obviously such a wild situation around this, man. Getting your title shot in a kind of unexpected fashion, I guess. What has this whole experience been like for you?
Early Christmas gift. I enjoy it. It is what it is. I take my chance. Everybody will use it, this situation. I didn't expect that. I was last who know what's happened because, I was in the plane when everything's happened. So when I landed, I checked my phone. My phone was crazy, a lot of messages. And I find this message from my manager. You've got title shot. So I was, I cannot believe first time. So I read it 4 times. I showed to my coach. He said, yay, we've got title shot. So he just was, excited, I think that I deserve for this fight after Rakic. But here he wants to take rematch with Glover. So, okay, so I have to wait a little bit longer, do one more fight. But, the universe worked with me very well. I wish Iri the best recovery, but, I will take my chance and be the champion again.
Obviously, it was a big fight. Change anything in terms of, your feeling, your approach, the strategy you implement? Did anything change?
Only one change is we've got the belt, so a little bit more pressure, but I don't think it. I don't let it this pressure to my head too much. And we've got 5 rounds, but for me it's better. I prefer 5 rounds, not 3. For me it was weird when I start prepare for 3 rounds, because I don't remember when last time I fight 3 rounds, so that was weird for me. So we're back to normal 5 rounds, more fun inside octagon for me. So I'm happy.
You fought all the best in the division. I mean, Magomed, do you believe he is one of the best in the division? I mean, is he on par with those other athletes that you've competed against?
Of course he is. Look at his record, 17-1, 9 win streak. So it's time to stop it and make his record 17-2. But for sure he's one of the best. I've got a lot of respect to his skills. That's gonna be tough fight. I expect tough fight, and I'm ready for this tough fight.
Last thing for me, do you have any concerns at all that you win on Saturday night, that people won't say that you're the legitimate champion? They'll say you got to beat Yuri before you can consider yourself champion, or do you feel like no, I am the champion?
First of all, I focus only about Saturday, but after Saturday, I won't fight against Yuri. He don't want to fight against me. He choose different fight, not me. So I'm ready for him when he gonna be healthy.
Yeah, right here. Before Anthony Smith fought Magomed, he said that his quote was, he's very, very basic. His approach is very simple, but he doesn't make any mistakes. I don't think he was overly impressed, but he said that he does everything correctly. So I'm curious if you agree with that assessment about Magomed.
The most important thing that his style is working very well. It doesn't matter that he is, simple or not. He's, the most important thing that he won almost every fight. By KO or decision, but he won. So it have to be good. So I have to be ready for this. And I think my style is also not so, very fancy and stuff like this. I do simple things, but most of these things work. So we are a little bit similar.
And I know you said you're focused on Saturday and you don't think Yuri would want to fight you, but Dana White did a podcast earlier today, and he said the winner of Saturday will probably fight Glover because Yuri's going to be out for a long time. So what do you make of whoever wins this, Glover's next in line?
Yeah, it's like natural way. So I believe I'm going to be next for, who going to win the fight, and Glover will be the best matchup for me for the title defense again. And this time I will prove myself that I can beat him.
Hey, Jan, over here. I was wondering, having been on both sides, been the contender, been the champion, and now working back, how would you say the attention in life is different when you are the champion as opposed to when you're just one of the contenders?
I try to explain to you in simple way. When you drive a poor car, and then you switch the poor car for, I don't know, Porsche or Mercedes, yes? And again, you lose this cool car and you come back to poor car, you won't coming back to this beautiful car, yeah? So this is how I feel right now, I was the champion, I lose the belt, but I know how it feels, how it's good feeling to be the best in the world. So now I just want to twice more, even the first time. So I was in the place where Magomedov is right now, and I am in completely new place, and I've got this motivation double it. So I cannot wait to start fighting for this title, again.
I know Poland had a rough loss in the World Cup. Do you feel like having another Polish champion back in the UFC will do a lot to bring everyone's, enthusiasm
Yeah, I
back?
believe that, after what's happened in the soccer champions, Poland will celebrate again with me in, a couple days. So, yeah, I hope so that I'm going to be the champion and we're going to celebrate together like last time.
Thank you. Jan, right here. If you win this fight, you'll be the first fighter in UFC history to win a title that's vacant 2 times. Is there anything disappointing about that you don't go in there and beat an established champion?
It's not my fault. I won't fight against John Jones, but he don't want to fight against me. Nobody knows what he's doing right now. And also I won't fight against Yuri, but he choose the rematch. Yeah? Now it's injury, so it's not my fault, This is not what I choose. It is what it is, but it's the championship, It's a belt. This is the more important thing for me.
Sure, thank you.
You've been the main event before, you've been champion before. How do you see these as the advantages going into the fight? Does it help you rest easy, or does it just make you sharper?
I think so, yes. Because I have got a lot of, 5 minutes rounds, main event. So this experience for sure gonna work for me because Magomedov have only one, I think so. So the experience, of course, I believe that's gonna be on my side in this fight.
I'm sure you'd perform at your best regardless of where we're at, but do you get that extra energy being at the T-Mobile Arena, the big event to close the year out and headline?
Yeah, I'm happy that it's gonna be, in big arena with, I hope so the arena will be full. The crowd will be, crazy because they give me energy, It's better when you fight with people, with the fans, and celebrate with them everything what's happened.
Excellent. Thank you, sir, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you. That's all. Yep. Dziękuję. Thank you.
Well, Jared, I mean, this was always a big fight from the moment it got announced, right? But now co-main event, a pay-per-view, I mean, big time. I don't know, does this have a special feel about it?
Yes, it does, definitely. Super excited. Eyes are on us, and I think, I think we are the true main event right now. Not to take anything away from the main event, but those guys are really stoic, and I'm not the most charismatic person at times, but Patty sure is, and I think it's going to be a great fight. Super excited, can't wait to get in there.
What do you make of that? I mean, obviously he's a charismatic dude, right? He brings a lot of attention. You kind of blue collar grinding in the shadows or whatever. So, I mean, what do you think facing a guy like this, boisterous like this?
I think it's great, man. I think he's great for the sport. I like him. I liked him from the start, even before UFC when he was in Cage Warriors. And, to get a chance to get in there with someone like him, I put myself right in this position to be in this moment. Everything that I did, I walked left, I walked right, I lost, I won, and it led me right here. So, it's just an opportunity that I have to seize, just like anything else in life, and that's what I'm going to do.
Have you felt like a responsibility, I guess, to maybe come out of your shell a little bit or whatever, or to kind of be a little more out there in this role, in this fight?
People don't really know me that well, I don't think. If you, hung out with me for a couple hours, you'd be like, this is not who, we think he is. But, I have a responsibility to, set a good example, I think. So... But, I could be fun too.
Personality aside, what do you make of Patty as a martial artist? I mean, there seems to be some debate. It's just how good he really is. Knowing that you've been watching him since his Cage Warriors days, what do you make of him as a martial artist?
I think he's dangerous. I think he's unpredictable. And I think that he's got a lot of tricks up his sleeves. And he's a good grappler, and that was his base. But he goes for it standing. He kicks. Flying knees. Big punches. And this is MMA. This isn't boxing. This isn't, kickboxing. There's so many variables that, I'll spar with amateurs and I'm like, why am I getting my ass kicked right now? So I'm looking at it like this is the best fighter that I've ever fought. And I'm not looking past him whatsoever.
Do you think his grappling stacks up with the guys you've just faced? I mean, you faced a couple high-level grapplers in a row.
I mean... Listen, he's tricky. He does more dynamic movements, like flying arm bars, flying triangles. He takes the back really well also. Do I think he's necessarily as solid as a grappler as, say, Grant Dawson or Joe Selecki? I don't know. I guess I'll find out Saturday night. But I'm ready for it. And, people, I'm not subbing guys constantly, so people are like, oh, he's just a positional guy, but, I think that my grappling is up there with all those guys. So, fight's a fight, and I just got to be the man that shows up that night.
Last thing for me, a big win for you here. I'm just curious where you think this puts you, right? Because it's not really about a ranking or a position, but it's obviously a huge opportunity and a lot of eyeballs. So where do you see yourself going with a victory here?
I think it gets me a shot at the top 15 at least, but you know how the sport is, man. 3 fights and you're champion. Look at Jiri, right? He had 3 fights, right? Or 4 fights, and he was... So, who's to say? Who's really making those rankings anyways? So I'm not really worried about that, but obviously I want to climb the ladder, and, that's what I'm going to do.
Jared, to your right. If I hung out with you for a day, what would I find out?
Oh, God. Do you really want me to tell you? Man, I don't want to go there. But, you know, I had a whole other life, you know, before I was trying to be an example for people. So I lived in a way that was, you know, not necessarily the most holy or godly way. But, yeah, man, you know, I come from New York. My mother's Catholic Sicilian. My father's an English Jew. My grandparents were born and raised in London, just for all the Brits out there. You know, I'm half Brit. So, you know, the household, the way we spoke, you know, I've been cursing since I'm like 3 years old. So you could, you know, use your imagination, you know, and it's fun. We have fun.
I wonder what, you know, he got a lot of attention for that speech he made after the last fight, and I thought of you when he was talking about that because you've done a lot of stuff like that. And have you ever wondered why maybe you haven't taken off the way he did after that? He had that thing and kind of just blew up and gets a co-main event, and, you know, you're kind of still, you know, fighting that battle, right?
I mean, I wonder a lot of things, you know? But this is, yeah, well, I know why, because I'm from America. And he's from Liverpool, and he has a whole city behind him, right? And the Americans like to tear down their athletes, you know? And there's so many of us in the UFC, so who are they going to get behind? You know what I mean? You see guys come from different countries. Look at Conor. The guy had a country behind him. Khabib, he's got Russia behind him. You know, oh, you're from New York? Go F yourself, you know? And that's like the saying. And, you know, you walk down the street in New York, and it's like, hey, fuck you. You're like, yeah, fuck you too. You know, it's just like how we are. So, but as Americans in general, it's like, let's tear our athletes down instead of support them. Oh, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was just saying, you know, New York is bigger than Liverpool.
Yeah, but that's a problem in itself. Who's Jared Gordon? You know, how many people are from New York? So, you know,
I assume the fact that, you know, he has had so much hype behind him made it more attractive to you when the fight was announced, because now you have a guy that a lot of people are going to tune in to see, and that puts you in the spotlight that way. Do you look at it like that, and that maybe you beat him, you take some of his shine?
Yeah, I mean, I got to go in there and do what I got to do. Like, you know, perfect example, right? Masvidal versus Darren Till. You know, look what happened to Masvidal. It seemed like, you know, they were going towards, all right, this is Till's night. And then Masvidal did what he did. And then it was like, all right, let's make him into a superstar now. So, yeah, that's what I have to do. And that's what's going to happen.
So, you know, you referenced, you know, you don't want to go there when you talked about your personal life and everything. But if you become that superstar, right, that's going to put that kind of pressure on you, the spotlight, and you're going to have the cameras following you around, and you get a lot more. You know, are you mentally prepared to deal with all that stuff, that if you get to the absolute top level and you're another Conor, or, you know, somebody nobody's another Conor, but in that kind of ilk, do you think that would be a hard thing for you to deal with?
No, I don't think so. I'll always stay true to myself. And, you know, as long as I walk with my God, then that's all that I have to do, you know? And I'm not doing this for that. I mean, yes, I make a living doing this, and it's always nice to make more money and obtain material things. But, you know, I already sold myself to the devil, and I got it back. And I'll never go back to that life ever again.
Jared, right here. Kevin mentioned Patty's post-fight speech about mental health, and I know that's something that's been important to you. You even in October, I believe you did an interview where you were saying you would like to maybe do something with Patty after the fight. He just announced that he launched a charity. I don't know if you saw that, but do you feel like maybe you guys have more in common in that department than meets the eye, and would you like to maybe help him out with that going forward?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I had said that for that reason. Like, maybe we could do something together. Nothing came of it, but that doesn't mean something can't happen in the future. And, you know, I think that even post or pre-UFC, I remember hearing him on the MMA Hour or whatever he calls his show now. that he was, dealt with mental health issues and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, and that's when I started kind of liking him. But yeah, I think that with the support, that we both have and the people that are around us, that we could do something, and why not, right? And we can entertain people in the process.
And do you think you guys both proved maybe, I feel like there was this this thought at one point in time that negativity was the thing that could promote fights and get people talking about your post-fight interview. But do you feel like maybe you guys are just proving that with the messages you're sending?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I see guys all the time, saying certain things to each other, using certain words, being tough guys. And it was if you were really a criminal, then you wouldn't be here. You would be out there extorting people and selling drugs and killing people. And I hear people call each other certain words, and it's where I've been and from where I'm from, those words, those aren't fist fighting words. Those are, I'm going to stab you in your back when you're not watching words, But you could tell certain people haven't been to jail. Even, some of our superstars, they've never been to jail. They've never shared a cell with someone else that they don't know who comes from, a terrible place. So yeah, that whole, the crap talk, I get it. Someone says something wrong to me, I'm not just going to roll over, but yeah, I think, this is, I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to try to preach, mental health and addiction stuff, and that's where I'm at in life now. So, no problem.
Jared, were you surprised about the backlash that you got when you said that MMA doesn't fulfill you?
Oh yeah, dude, went right over so many heads, and it was yeah, I mean, I'll win a fight. Oh, this is my biggest fight, and then I win, and 3 days later, I'm like, well, now what do I do? And I'm miserable again. Now I'm starting to act out because I don't know where to put my energy. And that's what used to lead me to shooting heroin, or doing something insane. So the only thing that gives me that, for the millionth time that I said this, is God, my wife, my parents, my friends. When I get to spend time with people, help people, that's what gives me lasting fulfillment. No matter what I do, MMA will never make me whole. And I'm going to retire. And what am I going to do when I'm 50 years old? People ask me, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm an MMA fighter. No, you're not. No, you're not. What are you talking about? So, you just you just can't put your value into something that's not going to last forever, so.
You're in the back, Jared. As the spotlight continues to grow for you, we know you're able to put an emphasis on your outside of the octagon purposes. Do you feel like with a fight of this magnitude, you've been able to put even more of a spotlight towards the addiction, towards the mental health, and you've had those opportunities?
Oh, yeah, definitely. My DMs are filled. I can't even I need people to actually help me go through them. I can't do it myself. And yeah, that's the whole point, right? If LeBron James was talking about mental health, he would get a lot of listeners, right? If Conor McGregor was talking about mental health instead of flexing in the mirror, he would get a lot of listeners, right? But, whatever floats your boat.
And right now, do you have a direct focus, purpose, which way you want to take your journey as far as helping people? Or could you tell us more about it?
Yeah, I mean, right now I do work with a center for treatment, addiction treatment. But, the goal is to open my own. I would like to do something for athletes and provide more of a holistic approach. Sometimes you need to, you have to use traditional modalities for treatment, detox, certain drugs that need to be used for people. Otherwise, they could die or, have other health issues. So, but yeah, that's where I want to go. That's what I want to do. It's super hard nowadays. A lot of things are changing with insurance companies and, self-pay for a treatment center is really expensive. But yeah, that's something I definitely want to do. And I'm sure other things as well, as far as, I help people for free all the time. And that's like what I've been doing for years. So like, I'm not trying to like, I have to toe the line of, am I doing this for personal gain and money, or am I doing this because I really want to help people? But I speak to certain people and they give me the answers that I need when it comes to stuff like that, and I'll figure it out.
Thank you.
No problem.
Couple setbacks early in the UFC run against some really talented guys, though, of course. I mean, I guess, what do you take out of your first 2 UFC experiences?
I haven't been given any favors, you know what I mean? So, and you shouldn't expect them, honestly. I fought Mario Batista, who's going to be, like I said, I've been saying it since the matchup, that is a top 15 prospect right there, I took him for 3 rounds on 6 days. He is murdering people. Let's get that out the way. He is hurting people. AQ, it was in the same position I am now, so, and he's a dog, that guy, you hit some guy 23 times in 10 seconds and he doesn't fall. I don't know what to tell you, but I had growing pains at the beginning of my career. I was 3-3 to start, so I didn't have a very illustrious start to my career. And it just took me learning how to win, as a professional. And I think that's kind of the same thing that's happening now, is that I had a little bit of a rough go. My last fight with AQ was more about like pacing. I was more paced for a 5-round fight instead of a 3-round fight. So we adjusted that, and I think it was just growing pains. That's really what it is. And once I start rattling off this win, it'll just keep going from there. So, you get caught up in the moment, you get caught up in everything, and, you work for 14 years to get to the place, then you get there, and you're like, well, I don't know what to aim for now, and that was kind of where I was at. So we've adjusted, and I'm more than confident about Saturday night.
That's awesome, man. Like, it's a mature mindset. I mean, has it been difficult to keep that or to arrive to that? Like, were there moments of frustration or like, what the hell? Like you said, I worked all the time to get here, and this ain't going the way I thought it was going to go.
If life has taught me anything, it is exactly that, is that things don't go your way, and they might not come the way you want them to. I think that, and the way that I've taken, of course, this frustration, you work, 3-4 sessions a day, you cut 30 pounds, you do all this stuff, you do all the mental work, and then it just doesn't work out. I think that all of my misfortune has brought me to this moment, if I'm honest. I think that if I had beaten AQ, I wouldn't be fighting Raul in the big spot with all the attention. I'd be fighting on the early prelims if I was even on this card at all, So things happen, you know what I mean? And you're going to get kicked in the mouth a lot, and it's how you get up, right? That cliche thing. And I don't say die, I don't quit. So, it is what it is. I'm 0-2, and I understand my position. But again, that 0-2 makes me very, very dangerous. And a lot of you are really, really, really underestimating how good I am. So, I take it with stride.
I like it, man. So, considering the years and the effort that you put in and all that you did, the journey to get here, then they say, hey, can you fight this teenager that just can't, I don't know, was there any part of you that was kind of like, F that, you know what I mean? Like, why are you doing this to me?
Nope, not at all. The way that I saw it was that everybody's got a hype train on him. And like I said, I have respect for the skill that Raul has. I saw it as an opportunity. It is an opportunity for me because 18 or not, people are watching, and hate me, love me, you're going to watch. And that's really it. There's a lot of hype behind the kid. And maybe when I beat him, it won't all be stolen, but I'll take a little bit of it, and that'll be a good launching point for me. It's a big pay-per-view. It's the last one of the year. People are going to be watching. All eyes on me, in the words of Tupac. So, that's how I felt about it the whole time, was this is your opportunity to show people how good you are against an opponent that I really do match up quite well with. All the people in the betting lines can shove it, is what they can do. Yeah, that's really it. It wasn't ever, I know why they picked me. It's a mistake. I know I wasn't the first choice, and I shouldn't have been the third, fourth, or fifth choice. But, egos prevailed. So I think it's an opportunity for me to show the world what I am, who I am, and how complete I am. So thank you.
Last thing for me, obviously you're a big opportunity for you. I guess the question, you're going to show how good you are. How good do you think Raul is? I think there's still a question around. Do you see him as a legitimate UFC caliber, right now kind of thing, or do you see more hype than substance right now?
So I believe that he is a very talented young man. Like I don't have anything against him personally. His skill is, I think people are enamored with how old he is and not the actual skill level now. We're at the UFC. This is the top of the world, correct? So now we have to start talking to him like we would anybody else that's not 18, 17, whatever the hell age he is. All right? If I fought and was as sloppy as the last fight was, you can say whatever you'd like, but there was definitely some unpolished stuff that happened in there. I'm not going to pull guard 7 times. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do all of these things that his opponent gave him in that fight. I think that, again, you're enamored with how old he is and all the hype around him and not the actual skill set, and that's what I'm looking at. And his grappling is amazing. You know, if we were at ADCC, I'd be in trouble. But guess what? We're not, you know, and I just don't, you know what I mean, like as a complete fighter, I don't see him on the same level as I am. And, you know, again, people say what they'd like. That's fine. But if we look at our strength of schedule in our last 2, mine and his, they're very different calibers of people that we've fought, and the gap between them is much shorter. So I do believe in 2 or 3 years, maybe even less than that, he'll be what everybody proclaims him to be. But he's still an 18-year-old, polished, and hasn't been tested even one time. Even once has he fought any kind of adversity. And on Saturday, you are about to see what that looks like for him. And I know that when I first fought and got in the pros and got adversity, it was a panic that set into me because everything didn't go my way. So to answer your question, I do think that he's very good, and he will be very good. Not right now. Not on December 10th. He's not going to be good enough. So,
Jay, in the front, right here. What you're saying, it reminds me of something that Paul Craig once said when he fought Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill was undefeated in the UFC, and he said being a young, undefeated fighter in the UFC is dangerous because you haven't faced adversity and stuff. Are you in agreement with that when you enter the UFC being undefeated like that?
I don't think you should be in the UFC by the time you face adversity. I feel like that should be something that is proven and tried prior to that. So I think it is dangerous because it feeds your ego and to believe that you are a world killer, and that's fine. You know, as you should. You should have confidence in yourself. But what happens when it doesn't go your way? You know, and again, in 9 fights, he hasn't faced any adversity at all. When he does, I really do believe that that's gonna take an effect on him. So I mean, it depends on who you are and what you're coaching and all that other stuff, you know, factors into. But I really do think that it's risky. I think that formula of just beating cans and then getting here, and then finally fighting a tough guy, even a guy that doesn't have a 16-1 record, that's dangerous because that guy that's got that 10-6 record has fought really tough people, much tougher than the people you have, and has faced that adversity over and over and over, and has at least overcome it more times than he hasn't. So, yeah, to answer that, I think it's dangerous, and it can be a detriment to you in your own way.
So he said he wants to be UFC champion by the time he's 20. Is that just getting ahead of himself?
When does that happen?
Never.
We didn't have anybody under 24 in the top 10. No. Okay. And we're at 135. I don't know if everybody remembers, but this is the hardest weight class in the world. So, word. You know what I mean? Like, great for you, dude. Everybody wants to be that, and I want to be Santa Claus. You know what I mean? Like, get out of my face. I'm gonna get a world title shot in 2 fights. Bro, I don't know who's talking to you like that and telling you that that's the case, but you need to get new friends. Because anybody that heard that and was like, yeah, this is for sure it, you should say that, is wrong and a little dumb, honestly. So, I mean, it's a nice goal to have. It's nice to say, you know, but before he's 20. You know what I mean? Stop. You know, what is that, a year from now? If he gets in the top 10 in a year, I'm writing a strongly worded email to somebody. That's all I know. They're getting a letter of some kind.
Magomed, it feels like this has been a long time coming, an opportunity to fight for the title. So now that it's fight week, championship on the line, what's the feel for you?
Такое впечатление, что это уже долго ты заслуживаешь этого титульного боя. Наконец-то ты сражаешься за титул, ты здесь. Какие у тебя ощущения?
Вот и пришел мой день, которого мы так долго ждали. Мы эту субботу покажем очень хороший, зрелищный бой и заберем то, что принадлежит нам.
The day has finally arrived, the day we waited for so long. We will show what we're worth this Saturday. We will come and take what's rightfully ours.
It was already a big fight before the title was on the line, but did things change either emotionally for you, strategically for you, anything at all once the belt was on?
Стал титульным, уже этот бой с Блаховичем был достаточно важным в твоей карьере. Но теперь, когда добавили еще и титул, что-то изменилось для тебя или нет?
Конечно, изменилось. Мотивации стало больше. Я стал вообще заряженным. Поэтому только хорошие эмоции и такую возможность я очень рад.
Of course, the stakes are much higher now, and I'm more motivated. I have a goal that I'm going to. I've trained really hard for this. I'm excited, and
as you said, kind of a long time coming. Did you ever think that they weren't going to give you a title fight, or did you ever wonder, like, what do I have to do to get a title fight?
Как ты уже сказал, ты давно заслуживаешь боя за пояс. У тебя были когда-нибудь мысли, что если мне вообще не дадут титульный бой, как я дальше буду двигаться?
Нет, я мелкими шагами шел к этому, не выбирал себе соперников, бился с каждым, кого мне дали UFC. Но у них, я думаю, не оставалось бы других выходов, чтобы не дать мне бой за пояс.
No, I never had those thoughts. I basically did step by step. I always fought whoever they put in front of me. I didn't pick my opponents. And I pretty much knew that at some point they will not have a choice but to give me a title fight.
A lot of top-level contenders. Is he more dangerous than them? The same? What do you make of him as a fighter?
Какие у тебя ощущения от Яна как от оппонента? Что ты думаешь про него как о сопернике? Что ты думаешь о нем как бойца?
Ян хороший боец, ничего плохого не могу сказать, но это бой, мое время, поэтому я сделаю все, чтобы добить победу, собрать пояс, чтобы моя мечта сбылась.
I can't say anything bad about Błachowicz as an opponent. He's a great fighter. He's a great guy. But the thing is, this fight is my dream. This is my opportunity. I will do whatever I have to do to make sure and come out of that octagon with a title.
You walk away with a win on Saturday. You take the belt. Do you feel the champion, the rightful champion, the full champion, or do you feel like you have to beat Yuri before you can really call yourself the UFC champion?
Давай представим, что в субботу ты выигрываешь, ты забираешь титул и выходишь из этого октагона как чемпион. Ты себя считаешь полноценным чемпионом или все-таки, поскольку сейчас вакантный титул, ты считаешь, что нужно будет еще побить Иржи для того, чтобы стать полноценным чемпионом?
Ну, я здесь, я не собираюсь, если я выиграю пояс, уходить. Я буду ждать каждого, кто захочет забрать пояс и биться со мной. Я думаю, я буду здесь надолго.
Well, I'm here. I'm not trying to go anywhere. So once I get this title, I'm not trying to escape. I'm going to stand here and wait for anybody who's ready to fight. Anybody who wants to take that title off of my belt, I will make sure to fight as many times as I can.
Last thing for me, obviously a huge moment for you, title fight. I mean, what kind of fight do you think we see on Saturday? Can you get something done early? Are you expecting a 5-round battle? What do we see?
Ну и последнее, это, конечно, титульный бой. Мы знаем, что ты ожидаешь от этого боя. Это будет фееричный бой, будет очень сложный бой, будет быстрый бой. Как ты думаешь, пройдет сам бой?
Я настроен на тяжелый бой. Я думаю, он будет очень зрелищным, так как мы оба хотим пояса, и каждый будет выкладываться на все 100%. Поэтому это будет очень тяжелый, хороший бой.
I'm ready for a hard fight. I'm ready for all 5 rounds. I know we both want the same thing. The goal is the same for both of us, so we'll do whatever we can. Each one of us will leave everything in that octagon. So I'm expecting a hard fight, but I think it's going to be really exciting.
Magomed in the front right here. We heard how Jan found out he got the title. He was actually in the air flying here, and when he landed, his phone started blowing up. He didn't know until everyone else knew. So I'm curious, how did you find out that you got this next title shot?
Нам всем рассказали, как об этом бое узнал Блахович, что он в самолете летел сюда и даже не знал, что он будет биться за титул. Когда приземлился, он включил телефон, и у него было очень много месседжей, на которых было написано, что вот теперь этот бой стал титульным. То есть мы знаем эту историю. А как ты узнал о том, что этот бой подняли до титула?
Мне тоже не было ничего известно. Мне один день позвонил, ночью после тренировок позвонил мой менеджер и предложил бой за пояс с Тишерой. И потом перезвонили и сказали, что Тeixeira не будет, будет с Яном 5-раундовый бой. Ничего не поменялось, просто наоборот больше эмоций, больше мотивации.
Yeah, for me as well. I was just training one night, and I got a phone call from my manager after one of the training sessions, and he said that I'm offered a title fight with Glover Teixeira. And then he called again a little bit after, and he said that actually Teixeira is not going to fight, so it's going to be a fight against Jan for the title. So nothing really changed for me, except I'm more motivated. I have a goal that I'm going towards, and I'm really excited about this. It's going to be a great fight.
Jan had said that he actually preferred getting the title shot this way. Not that you're getting hurt, but he didn't have to do all the media before. He was already in camp. He had already gone through camp to prepare for you. He didn't have to do all the interviews and everything about the title fight. I'm curious if you feel the same way.
Ян сказал, что ему даже больше понравилось получить известие о поясе таким образом, потому что не было никаких интервью, которые нужно было там 2, 3, 4 недели до пояса давать интервью о том, что это титульный бой. Просто ему сказали, что теперь твой бой титульный. И он уже был в подготовительном лагере, он уже знал, что он идет к тебе, просто сейчас добавили этот титул. Как тебе? Тебе тоже так нравится, что тебе как бы внезапно сказали, что это титульный бой, или ты хотел бы знать об этом заранее?
Ну, конечно, когда мы знаем хорошо, мы подготовку проходили бы по-другому, но я думаю, мы со своим тренером, мы всегда выкладываемся на все 100%. Хоть у нас 3-раундовый бой, мы всегда готовимся как бы к 5, поэтому я думаю, нет проблем с этим.
Yeah, to be honest, it's better to know, of course, that it's a title fight ahead of you because you prepare a certain way. There's a certain different motivation coming into the fight. But we were preparing with my coach already, and we thought it was a 3-round fight. Now, of course, it's a 5-round fight. So I think we did the work that we needed to do to make sure that we take the title.
And then finally, we always hear about Jan's legendary Polish power, in his words. Does he present any other problems that you need to be prepared for, or is it just you're prepared for everything?
И, конечно же, все всегда говорят про легендарную польскую силу, которая в ударке у Блachowicza. А кроме его ударки, что-то еще опасаешься в этом бою или нет?
Ну, в этом бою я не собираюсь опасаться от его ударов. Я хочу доминировать, я хочу выиграть этот бой любой ценой. Поэтому меня ничего не беспокоит. Я мотивирован. Я думаю, это мое время, поэтому я сделаю все возможное, чтобы добить свою победу.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about the legendary Polish power or anything else in that way. I want to dominate the fight from the beginning to end. I want to make sure that I'm the one who is the aggressor. I already am prepared. I will do whatever I have to do to leave myself in that octagon to walk out with the title.
Magomed to your right. It's so hard to go undefeated in the UFC, and I wonder if you can comment, first of all, why you think it is for high-level fighters in MMA that it's so difficult to be undefeated. John Jones would have been if not for a referee's mistake. You came within 1 second in that Paul Craig fight. What makes it so difficult in this sport, unlike boxing where guys are undefeated?
Как ты думаешь, почему в UFC и вообще в этом спорте так сложно пройти без проигрыша, то есть быть непобедимым? Вот, например, Джон Джонс был бы непобедимым, если бы не ошибка рефери, и у тебя была там буквально минутка в бою против Пола Крэга. Почему ты считаешь, что на этом уровне быть непобедимым практически невозможно?
Ну, я думаю, можно на этом пути быть непобедимым, но я допустил ошибку. В этом деле ошибки не простят, поэтому случается такое. Но поражение должно делать человека сильнее, поэтому это урок. Я думаю, без этого, с поражением, я думаю, в общем, тренировочный лагерь, все меняется на лучшую сторону, поэтому это нормально.
I think it's possible to go undefeated in the sport. It's just that I specifically made a mistake in that fight. I made a mistake in this sport, at this level. Mistakes are unforgiven, so I paid for it. But to tell you the truth, it's good to make these mistakes. These mistakes make a fighter better. You learn on these mistakes. You take it as a learning experience. And the only thing it should do is make you even better at the end.
When you look at somebody like Khabib that did what he did, I mean, does that make it amazing when you look at all the great fighters in the history of the sport? And Khabib is one of the few that I can think of that ever went through that long a career undefeated. Does it impress you even more when you think back on that?
Когда ты смотришь на карьеру, которую провел Хабиб, он прошел без проигрышев, тебе кажется, что это нереально или это очень ты высоко его очень ставишь для себя, потому что из всех тех, кто прошел карьеру, очень мало человек никогда не проигрывали. Вот Хабиб прошел такую карьеру. Как ты по этому поводу думаешь, это тебя мотивирует больше?
Ну, я думаю, Хабиб очень... Ну, он тренируется, думаю, вообще по-другому. Я смотрю его интервью, он всегда говорит, нужно тренироваться. У него нет перерывов. Он сделал себе карьеру, стал чемпионом, защитил ее и ни разу не проигрывал. Ну, это другой уровень.
I think Khabib is all the way on the other level. Khabib trains and used to train without a break, without a stop. I watch his interviews and he always says you got to train, and then train some more. Basically, he's on a whole different level compared to a lot of other fighters. And I think where Khabib is, it kind of separates him from everybody else.
Did you? I know you said you made a mistake against Paul Craig, but do you ever look back on it sometimes and go, one more second, and I would have that 0 instead of the 1, and does it mean anything to you out of a 1?
Ты говорил, что ты допустил ошибку в этом бою против Пола Крэга, но ты когда-нибудь задумаешься о том, что вот секунд и вместо вот этой единички у меня бы был 0 на рекорде? Тебя это каким-то образом мешает тебе, или ты просто продвинулся вперед дальше и не думаешь об этом?
Нет, я об этом вообще не думаю, так как я уже допустил ошибку, уже ничего изменить невозможно. Но если повторный бой был бы такой, я думаю, такое я никогда не допустил бы такое. Но это поражение сделало меня сильнее. Я даже благодарен этому поражению, которое было у меня. Ну, так что двигаемся вперед.
I don't really think back about it. I mean, it's something that I did. I made a mistake. I paid for it, but now I have to move forward. If I'm honest about it, I think it made me stronger. It made me a better fighter. It made me learn. And now moving forward, of course, I probably wouldn't make the same mistake, but I think it's for the best because look at where I'm at now.
And I guess my last question was kind of about your evolution. I mean, if you said the Magomed of today would fight the Magomed of 2018, how do you think that would go and why?
И просто проговорить то, как ты изменился. Вот, например, если бы мага того времени сражался бы с магой этого времени, насколько бы боец сегодня был бы лучше, чем в то время?
Ну, в то время, пока не проиграл, я думал, я достаточно тренируюсь, могу пропустить тренировку, не доделать что-то. Но после поражения я начал добить и делать все лучше и больше.
That time, Maga would think that before he ever lost, like, okay, maybe I miss a practice or maybe I'll miss a sparring session or whatever, I'll keep moving forward. But after that loss, Maga has changed and he became the guy who always pushes forward, always goes to all practices, makes sure that he crosses all his T's and dots all his I's, and that's why I'm here.
Magomed over here. Magomed, I was wondering, what were your thoughts on Glover Teixeira choosing not to fight you on short notice?
Скажи, пожалуйста, какие твои мысли о том, что Тейшера не согласился с тобой сражаться в такое короткое время?
Ну, это решение Тейшеры, я ничего не могу сказать. Мое уважение. Я всегда, с кем бы ни бился Тейшера, я всегда болею за него. Поэтому я насчет Тейшеры ничего плохого не могу сказать.
I have nothing but respect for Glover. I think he's a great fighter. I mean, that's the decision that he made. Whenever Teixeira fights, I'm always rooting for him, no matter who he's fighting against. So I have nothing but respect for him.
On that note, is he someone you do expect could possibly be next for you if you win on Saturday?
Но если мы об этом поговорим, то как ты думаешь, если может ли он быть следующим твоим оппонентом? Будет у тебя выигрыш в субботу, кажется ли тебе, что тебе придется потом биться с Тейшерой?
Ну, все возможно. Все возможно. Я не выбираю себе соперников. Ни разу не было такого, чтобы я отказывался от боев. Поэтому если случится такое, что мне придется с ним биться, то без вопросов.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, I've never picked my opponents, so whatever comes ahead, that's what I'm going to face. If it happens that Teixeira is in my future and I have to fight him, then let it be.
Looking at Błachowicz's last two fights, were there things you feel that you can replicate that Glover and Rakic did well against Jan, or do you feel like you're just a completely different fighter who will fight Błachowicz differently?
Если посмотреть на последние два боя Блаховича, то как ты думаешь, сможешь ли ты повторить то, что сделал Ири, и то, что сделал Тeixeira, когда Блахович проиграл? Или ты совсем другой боец, совсем другая стратегия у тебя? Как ты думаешь? Не понял? Сейчас скажу. Ну, смотри, последние два боя Блаховича он проиграл. Сможешь ли ты сделать то же самое, что сделали его оппоненты для того, чтобы забрать выигрыш? Или ты совсем по-другому подходишь к этому бою и готовишься по-другому, потому что ты другой боец?
Ну, я думаю, я не стандартный боец. У меня вообще другая техника.
Patty, it feels like any fight that you're in is a big fight with a lot of attention, right? But co-main event, Las Vegas, fight capital of the world. I mean, does this feel like a big moment in your career?
It's just another fight, lad. You know what I mean? This is just standard. Every fight's going to be the biggest fight of my career, every one I take. So I just take everything in my stride, lad. This is business as usual.
You've always had a lot of attention on you, even from the early days. But I mean, it just keeps getting bigger, and there's more cameras, and there's more people, and you know, even in Las Vegas, people are mobbing you. Does it ever get to a point where it's like almost too much, or more than you expected to have to deal with?
Nah, I always saw this in my future. I knew what was coming. I always said I'm going to be the biggest star in this sport, and none of it takes me by surprise. You know what I mean? I'll stop and give anyone me time, as long as they use the manners. You know what I mean? I don't like it when people are rude. That's it. As long as people say please and they don't just headlock me and try and take a selfie. You know what I mean? I'll take time out of my day to speak to anyone, because without them fans, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Talk about the build-up for this one, because Jared's been very respectful of you. You know, he says he's kind of a fan of you. He's like, he's not a hype train. You know, he's the real deal. What have you made of, you know, the way he's treating you ahead of time?
I really like Jared. You know what I mean? We've got a mutual respect for each other. I think he's an amazing human being. What he's come back throughout his life, he's turned his life around. He's such an inspirational and motivational person. Like, I have got the utmost respect for him. I really have. I think he's a very nice, genuine dude. I seen him yesterday and he come over and give me a hug, lad. Come over and give me a hug and shook my hand. And he put online, he's got very soft hands. And people were giving him shit over it, saying like, why didn't say that into his face. I didn't take it like that. I have got very soft hands. You know what I mean? And I don't use moisturiser. I have got soft hands. It's me knuckles what you've got to worry about.
What do you make of him as a fighter? I mean, does he present any unique challenges that maybe you haven't seen before?
No. I don't think he does. No disrespect to him, like, but I don't think he does. You know what I mean? I think Jordan Levitt's a better grappler. I think Luigi Vendramini's a better striker. And I'm bigger than him. I've got more reach. Like, one thing that did piss me off was he said, I'm a quitter. I've never quit. I've been choked unconscious and went 5 rounds twice against 2 steroid abusers when I went into both of them fights injured. You know what I mean? He's the quitter. He tapped to a choke recently, what wasn't even fully on. Like, that wasn't even a proper rear naked choke against an opponent who was absolutely dog shit. So, you know.
Last thing for me, Patty, I mean, a win here, obviously, all eyes are on you, big spot. How fast do you want this thing to go to the top of the division? I mean, I think now people are taking you real, you know. Are you ready for contendership?
They're not, though. They're not. It's cheeky, lad. People still aren't taking me for real. You know what I mean? No one respects me. And it does piss me off. But, you know, I've just got to get on with that, lad. People don't respect the come-up. Simple as.
Paddy, do you think, you know, sometimes we talk about fighters having their breakout moment, right? Oh,
This is going to be this fight. This fight's going to be my breakout performance. Because every one of my past opponents, people are like, oh, he's not good, he's not good. I personally think my best opponent was my debut, Luigi Vendramini. He gets a bad rap, lad. You know what I mean? The only fights he lost the majority decision to Faraz Ziam. He's also pony-like. He lost his debut at welterweight, and then I beat him. But that's me. You know what I mean? People say, oh, because he got cut. Yeah, Vargas wasn't the best. Like, he wasn't. Jordan Levitt, very good. No one had ever finished him. Everyone was talking about Claudio Puelles. Ooh, he's fucking shit as well. You know what I mean? And he couldn't finish him. But everyone was saying that he'd beat me. And I went and finished Levitt on one of my worst nights when I turned up with a lot of shit going on behind the scenes. And I still finished him in the second round, lad. And I'm disappointed in that performance. Just like I was the Vargas one. I don't think I've put a good performance in since my debut, and that wasn't even that good. But this is going to be my breakout performance. People are going to see the improvements I've made over the past 15 months since I signed with the UFC. Like, you're going to see.
In fighting, often we see these guys who are able to bring people with them, right? The travelling crowd. I know, like, December's not necessarily the best time. People are saving money for Christmas.
No, it's not.
Are you expecting some scouts?
Oh, of course, yeah. I've sold a good few tickets myself. Got tickets for me mates, obviously, it goes without saying. But it's not even just that, lad. I'm fighting in America, and I know full well Jared's going to get booed, and I'm going to get cheered. That's a fact. Like, it just is. It's going to be mad for him, lad, because I think he might get a good cheer and that, but when he's standing in that cage and everyone's singing, oh, Paddy the Baddie, his ass is going to fall out of him.
Paddy, just here to your right. News came out the other day that you launched your own foundation. Can you kind of talk about that? I know it's kind of targeted to your local area at the minute, but I'm sure it's something you want to like expand throughout England as well.
Yeah, it's not just targeting me local area, lad. It's just helping kids in general, like, get fed. The amount of kids, what you hear nowadays, what are on the breadline and are struggling to get food. You know, I'm just trying to help any way I can, just like people like Marcus Rashford have done the same in the UK. And then, like I said that in March, and people are saying, oh, he's just saying that. Well, what now, lad? You know what I mean? My foundation's up and running. What have you got to say now? And then I still see people talking shit who haven't got a clue. You know what I mean? I'm going to have a help men's mental health charities. You know what I mean? That's another big thing to me.
And talking about Jared there, he's got such a crazy life story, you know, pronounced legally dead for 2 minutes. It's something that I'm sure you must be thinking, God, this guy's got a crazy story. What's your thoughts on, you know, his background and the things that he's had to come through?
As I say, he's such an inspirational character because he's come through all sorts. You know what I mean? You couldn't even name all the things what he's come through, and now he's back. He's back and he's fighting in the UFC, and he's setting a good example for people in that walk of life. And I can't take my hat off to him enough, lad. I respect him so much as a human being.
I wanted to ask, when you went to Conor McGregor's pub, you had a massive food binge, and you had a FaceTime with him. I know he helped you out with the bill. How much did he spend all the money on the bill for you? Did he pay it all?
Yeah, he paid it all, lad.
Are we talking 100 quid, 200 quid?
We didn't even see it. We didn't see the bill. He just said, I'm taking care of it. But I was eating and Molly was drinking, lad, so you can imagine how much it was.
And finally, from me, it's a touchy subject, but we spoke to Molly about it. She addressed this. I wanted to ask your doctor, I'm not sure how much you've worked with him, Dr. Usman Shajad was in the UK news a lot before the Conor Benn fight. You were listed on his website and you took pictures with him. I just wanted to ask your relationship with him.
So because I took a picture with someone?
Have you worked for him for this fight? Have you worked with him before?
I've never worked with him. He took me to get an MRI scan once. Is that all right? Or is that...
Just wanted to ask you.
Yeah, tiff for asking that question, like.
Patty, to your right. Over here. Just wanted to ask you, you know, as you get higher in the UFC and you get more notoriety, you become kind of like the Super Bowl, the big fight for everybody. So that creates a little extra burden on you, right? You have to raise your game each time because you know you're going to get the best from other guys. Is that something that you're aware of that you've dealt with in the past in your career?
Yeah, people step up when they fight me, you know what I mean? They come in the best they've ever looked. It's just like when football teams play Liverpool, lad. They roll over for Man City and let them beat them. But when they play Liverpool, lad, they turn up on the day and play the best they've ever played. That's what people do against me. I get the best version of everyone.
And so when you do get the best version of everyone, does that force you to like never take a day off? Like sometimes, you know, you don't feel like practicing, but because of that, because you know the guys you're going to fighting are going to be stepping up and giving you your best, does that require you to be on point all the time?
There's a lot of days I don't want to get out of bed, lad. A lot of days I want to just stay in the pit and not get out of bed. But it's something I've got to do. I work my arse off to be in this position that I'm in. Years ago, I used to just rely on me talent, and I never used to work hard, and it got me to a world title, it got me to a Cage Warriors world title, but when I started coming up against people that were working hard and did have a bit of talent, also they were pumping themselves full of steroids, but I started to lose, know what I mean? And then looking back now, I needed them life lessons, wasn't just like lessons in the cage, what I needed as a life lesson to sort my life out, and I've done that, and now look at me.
Patting in the front right here. Jared was back here, and he said that after this fight, he wanted to work with you to kind of raise awareness for mental health and everything. Is that something you'd be interested in after this fight?
Yeah, 100%. As I say, I really respect Jared as a human being. He's a lovely man. You know what I mean? And what he's doing for his community and for all the people by us is amazing. You know what I mean? He's helping people sort their lives out and turn their lives around. He's a proper genuine dude. As I say, there's no animosity at all in this fight. Like, I wanted to break Levitt's face because he was talking proper shit, but Jared's a nice dude, you know what I mean? I'm going to feel bad when I hurt him.
And then in the Embedded series, in episode 1, they showed that scene of that guy coming up to you and saying, like, your message saved my life. How often does that happen after that message you sent back in London?
I have had that a few times now, like, to be honest, and as I said on that, it means more than getting my hand raised ever will. I always say there's no feeling, like I've got goosebumps now thinking about it. I always say there's no feeling like getting your arms raised, but when someone comes over and says that they never took their own life because of something that I said, it's different.
And you were in the news a lot for that doorbell video that came out. Were you surprised at how many news outlets picked that up?
Lad, I have been asked about that more than me fight over the past week. I'm not messing. I've been asked more about that sloppy shit than I have about Jared Gordon. I'm not even taking the piss either. Like, before I've got home like 30 minutes after that happened, and I'd been sent it on WhatsApp 3 times before I got home. And then all night I was just getting sent it. Next morning I woke up and it was on Sports Centre. I was like, what the fuck's going on here?
Patty, right here. You had Dana White on your podcast, and you guys were talking about UFC London, which is now official for March. Is it obviously your intention to turn around and fight on that card?
I don't know, to be honest. We'll see what happens after this, but I have a holiday booked in Thailand in January, and I'm going on this holiday, lad. I haven't had a holiday for a while, and the missus is adamant that we're going on a holiday, and we're not just going, like, because when I go to San Diego, I still have to work, still do me vlogs, still do podcasts. The missus wants a proper holiday, lad, before we get married in May. So, I don't know. We'll see. You could see me on that if I come back and I feel like fighting on that date, then yeah. If not, you'll see me in the crowd and probably on a pay-per-view in April or something. No. I knew they wouldn't do the stadium show.
Why?
Because I'm not stupid.
Well, why would they be stupid to do?
Because I just knew they wouldn't. I knew for a fact it wasn't happening. I just know. If you're going to do a stadium show, it's me headlining at Anfield. End of.
And when, there's a lot made about your weight fluctuation and stuff, and when Dana was talking about it earlier this year, he said, that's not something that's sustainable and it can be bad and stuff. Did you guys have any conversations, about that? And
No.
Is anything being said to you behind the scenes?
No. Why would it? It's not of anyone else's business. If I want to get chubby in the off-season, I'll get chubby. End of. Know what I mean? Started this camp at 193. A lot of people start camps heavier than that. I'm waking up 168. Do you think that's a big cut? Because I certainly know it isn't.
How's the food in Thailand?
Very good. Pad thais are heavy. Curries are heavy.
Thanks, Patty.
Hey, Patty, over here. I'm curious, finally, both yourself and Darren Till on the same card. Just how big is that impact in Liverpool, specifically with MMA?
Well, yeah, I've been getting sent all billboards from Liverpool at the minute where it's just me and Darren Till on billboards everywhere saying Scouts take over, and it is, know what I mean? We're both hopefully gonna, I know I'm gonna get my win. Hopefully Darren gets his win, and it is a Scouts takeover.
Who throws the bigger party, Darren and Hamzat or you and Molly?
Come on, lad, that's a terrible question. Obviously, me and Molly. Crash Matt doesn't even drink, does he? It's obviously me and Molly.
Good luck.
Patty, you fought in London twice. You're going to fight in Vegas. When's the next? When are we going to see you headline a fight night or a main event?
Well, Dana said on the podcast after I win this one that I probably will headline a fight night. So, I don't know. We'll see, lad. We'll see. But you know I could headline anyway. I'm the people's main event on Saturday night.
Fans were very surprised that how much you love movies and how smart you are. Where did that come from?
My dad loves films, lad. My dad loves movies and he's bred it into me. You know what I mean? So, I like me films. It's a Pimblett thing.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, just wanted to get your thoughts on Volkanovski and
Islam.
Islam, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's going to be a scrap. You know what I mean? I got so much stick for picking Charles against Islam, which was crazy because a lot of people pick Charles, but still on social media posts and stuff, oh, you picked against Islam. Yeah, because Charles have fought the better people and I thought Charles was going to win. Can't I have a prediction anymore? People saying you haven't given props to Islam. I have. He looked unbelievable that night. He absolutely dominated Charles. I would have put up a better fight than Charles did that night, to be honest. But him versus Volk's going to be a scrap. Volk, especially if Volk's power transfers up to 155, because he's probably going to have a speed advantage, and his cardio is going to hold up even more because he's moving up a weight. So it's a very interesting fight. I'm looking forward to watching it, to be honest.
Patty, right over here. You had that call out of Mark Zuckerberg that time to try to get your accounts unlocked. Now that Elon Musk has taken over Twitter, is there any chance we get a call out on him, try to get your account
Nah,
back?
I don't want Twitter back, lad. Twitter's a cesspit. Twitter gets me in trouble. People interpret things that I say and twist it and make it sound like I've said something I haven't and make me look bad when I've never said any of those things. People just misinterpret what I say on purpose to make me look bad. You know what I mean? Digging tweets up from like 2018, 19 to try and make me look bad. And I'd rather not have Twitter back, lad. Gets me in too much trouble.
Well, obviously, the UFC debut, man, a lot of attention, a lot of building up to this. I mean, just talk about the emotion right now that you're feeling just a few days out.
I'm just feeling excited, no pressure, just, excited for this moment. Excited to go out there on Saturday night, get the finish, and put on a hell of a performance. For all the people that go out there and, come from, like, different countries to support, from T-Mobile, from different states that come out here, I'm just going to go out there and put on a show for everybody at T-Mobile and everybody watching around the world.
Obviously, it's going to be a packed arena. I mean, it's going to be a big deal. Do you expect to feel any different as you're walking to the cage, or do you think it'll be just another day for you?
It's just another day because it's a different cage, different arena, but still one guy. Like, I'm fighting just one guy, same opponent, like, same as others. Like, it's a different name, but he's the same from everybody, so there's nothing different from that.
All the attention that you're getting, man, it's been crazy. I mean, even the entourage walking around, you can't. I mean, is this wild? Is this what you expected in your debut, or is this even more than you anticipated?
More than I anticipated, but I'm getting used to it. At first, it was, a little like I wasn't used to it, but now I'm used to it, and now it feels like more normal. But at first, it was a little like awkward for me, but now it feels more normal.
Jay, you said it's just another fighter, but I guess what do you think about him as an opponent? Is there anything in his game that stands out to you?
I don't think there's nothing in his game that stands out. So I'm just going to go out there and prove it on Saturday night that there's levels to this. Like I said, somehow he got into the UFC, but Saturday night, I'm just going to get the job done and finish him on Saturday night.
Last thing for me, I mean, I know you had this goal of being the youngest UFC champion. So do you feel like you got to go, make some kind of super statement on Saturday to do that, or is a win of any kind good enough just to get you started?
Saturday night, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out there and for me, it's not only winning this fight on Saturday night, it's about going out there and making a statement. So just to prove a point that I'm ready to face higher level competition. So I'm just going to show everybody that I'm levels above. So the key to this fight is not only winning this fight, but also I'm going to win impressively to show that I'm ready to fight higher level competition.
We're in front here. Are you still in school while also being a professional athlete?
Yeah, this is my senior year in high school.
So how do you balance being a high school student and a professional athlete?
I started doing homeschool so I can have more training sessions, but being in school was a little bit hard and fighting because I would go to the cafeteria, and then the only good thing they got in the cafeteria is pizza. Like we would all fight for the pizza. Like everybody after class runs to the cafeteria to get us. Everything else is not that good. So yeah, that was kind of hard. And then it was kind of hard, outrunning other people that want to get that pizza. But even in class, like my friends and stuff, everybody always has food, like a bag of chips on that backpack instead of homework. So we would all just be eating chips and stuff. So it was kind of hard for my diet. Good thing I don't have to diet, but yeah, that was still hard.
And your opponent was in here earlier today, and he was very complimentary of you, saying that you are skilled, you're here for a reason. But I had 20, and I told him that, and he said, "Yeah, well, I also want to be Santa Claus. It's just probably not going to happen that quick."
Hey, she would actually do a better job in being Santa Claus than being a fighter. So I mean, after this fight, that dream can come true. His dream on being Santa Claus can come true. He can go ahead and go dress as Santa Claus and go stand outside of the mall. And some kids can take pictures with him if he really wants that. And if he wants, he can buy me a gift. He can buy me a gift and bring it to my home or whatever he wants to do after the fight. I'll make his dream come true too. Just like he's making my dream come true by beating him on Saturday night. See? It's a win-win for everybody here, right?
Raul over here. Did you start homeschool before or after Contender Series?
In between, a little bit after, but because it was kind of hard. I was going to school, but I was missing a lot of days because I was training and stuff. So that's why I say in between. But yeah, hopefully I graduate this year.
I was going to ask, what did your teachers say when it's like, hey, I'm going to miss some days at school, I'm going to be fighting guys on television?
Nah, they don't really care about that. They're just like, every day that you're absent, your grade goes down, and that's all they care about.
Are you going to still walk with all of your classmates and get to kind of show off a little bit at graduation?
I'm planning to go to the graduation with all my classmates, but like I said, hopefully I graduate. But yeah, that would be fun because I've grown up with them, so it'll be pretty cool for me to go out and join them for the graduation.
And my final question, obviously being young in the game, what kind of things do your coaches tell you to help you focus and just keep, just growing and not getting too far ahead, even though you do have those big goals for yourself?
They don't really tell me to put a limit. They just tell me whatever I want to do is just hard work. Whatever I want to do, it just takes hard work. Like I said, for anybody, whatever anybody wants to do is just hard work. There's no secret, so that's what I'm going to do. I've been doing to get to the UFC, and that's what I keep doing to win these fights is hard work. So Saturday night, all my hard work is going to show.
Thank you.
Right here, Ro. Was it difficult for you to kind of take a step outside that social boundary and have to stop going to school like all your friends and kind of have to do things differently, or was that just a sacrifice you knew you were going to have to make maybe at some point?
No, I actually didn't know I was going to have to make that type of sacrifice because I knew I was going to be in the UFC early, around this age, but for some reason I didn't think that I was going to still be in high school. That didn't cross my mind. So yeah, I had to leave school, but I mean, I wish I was still in school, in regular school, because I think it's pretty fun, hanging out with friends, and then I'm not training, I'm just sitting on the desk and talking and eating and stuff, But I had to take that away for me to become an even greater fighter than what I am today. So I didn't know I had to make that sacrifice, but at the end of the day, I realized I had to make it, and that's what I did.
And I think that's a sacrifice a lot of high schoolers wouldn't be at. So I guess, what do you feel like separates you from everybody else where you're able to do this stuff so early and get so far?
I think it's about how bad I want it, so I'm willing to do anything, whatever it takes for me to get whatever I want. So, that's what it took, so that's what I had to do. And, also it was hard because when I was going to school, I'll get invited to parties, I'll get invited to, a lot of parties, after school parties and stuff, or hanging out with friends, but I never had time for all that stuff because I had to be at the gym. And then, so yeah, that's like a big, I think about it like sacrifice now, enjoy later. So after my career, after it's all said and done, like, don't be surprised if you see me like fucking going wild on parties and stuff.
And what do your friends think of this? I mean, they're sitting in math class and you're out like bodying grown men and stuff. Is it like, do you have a big support group of friends that helping you along the way here?
Yeah, I don't understand the process of the UFC. So when they, first they would say, hey, when are you going to join the UFC? Hey, tell Dana White to sign you. Like, but it's funny because when they announced my fight that I'm fighting on December 10th versus Jay Perrin, they were telling me, bro, that's too easy. Tell Dana White to put you with Brock Lesnar. I'm like, what? Okay. I'm like, but yeah, it's like so funny. Like, they don't really understand, like, there's weight classes and stuff, but they're always supporting, you know, so I really appreciate that.
Raul.
Raul.
Raul, back here.
Oh.
To your left.
Oh, okay. Oh, never mind. My bad.
Your brother Jesse just picked up his second professional win. Do you think in 2023 we're going to have two Rosas brothers in the UFC?
Absolutely. That's the dream. Two brothers becoming UFC champions. I know right now they got a couple brothers in the UFC, like a couple pair of brothers. So if they do it before us, you know, we're still going to do it. And if they don't, then we're going to make history on becoming the first brothers becoming champions in the UFC. That's the goal right now. I think we have the same knowledge. Like every fighter that knows us and that has trained with us, they know that my brother is also like has a great skill set. But what put my brother behind is injuries or like his opponents pull out for some reason. He has like that thing where his opponents pull out the week of the fight. But yeah, we tried fighting on the same card, like he would be here right now, but his fighters pulled out, so right now he's 2-0. He's coming up though, and I can't wait for us to both be fighting on the same card in the UFC. And like we used to do it, one day we're gonna do it in the UFC when he comes in. We're gonna put the check on the table, and whoever gets the fastest finish is gonna take it all.
Cool. Thank you.
Raúl. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Todo bien?
Bien, bien, bien.
Two quick questions, Raúl. One, I have heard that Jay and you were training partners at Syndicate. If it's not right, is it right that it ended up very well? Some kind of sparring or something like that? That's my first question. And my second one, tell me, how do you feel, how is it to train with Coach Hector Vasquez, the creator of Jiu-Jitsu Champions?
So what was the first question?
The one with Jay and you were training partners
Yeah.
at Syndicate once, and one training session didn't go well. Is that right?
What do you mean one training session didn't go well?
That you have kind of an argument or something like that.
Oh, no, what? No, did he say that?
No, I've heard.
No. It wasn't that. We just kind of had like, I wouldn't say a fallout from that gym because we were training at that gym, me and my brother. I wouldn't say a fallout, but I feel like some people don't fit in one gym, and you know, like that's like regular. I feel like we didn't fit in that gym because I don't want to say the reasons, but yeah, we didn't fit in that gym, so we started training with Hector Vasquez, and I really appreciate Hector Vasquez because he helps us fix small details, little adjustments that we have to make. And I also train at 10th Planet Las Vegas with Andy Barella and Coach Casey. And right there, it's all gas, no brakes. That's the mentality that they put us, and everybody there, like, is coming up. Like, there's a lot of youth grapplers that are coming up. You got Spencer, Adam, Nick, us. We all got our purple belt at the same time, and we're coming up. Like, all of us are hungry, and we're here to take over. And even Andy Barella, he's competing at the highest level in jiu-jitsu, so I get to make adjustments with him, and I'm grateful for that. But we're all hungry to take over in every sport, and that's going to happen one day. We're going to be taking over. We're going to be at the top, and it's just all gas, no brakes, putting in the work, and that's what it's going to take us to wherever we want to be.
Gracias.
Nah.
Buenas tardes, Raúl. Felicidades en este momento de tu carrera que está la infancia, vamos a decir, de que eres un miembro del UFC. ¿Cómo se compara el sueño que tenías? Un día voy a llegar, ahí voy a estar, y ahora actualmente que estás aquí con la prensa y días de debutar en el octágono? ¿Cómo se compara el sueño con la realidad?
Pues el sueño con la realidad, pues lo único que me ayuda es de que por eso no estoy nervioso o como ahorita que estoy sentado aquí mismo, me siento normal porque yo lo veía en la televisión y yo solito ya me veía aquí, como yo sabía que iba a llegar a este momento un día, y gracias a Dios ahorita estoy aquí. Y pues lo único que me ayuda es como yo lo decía que estaba en el último show viendo las peleas de T-Mobile y yo sabía que iba a pelear pronto en el Contender Series. So, cuando yo estaba ahí sentado, yo dije, en el siguiente show voy a pelear aquí y gracias a Dios ahí va a ser mi debut. Pero como todo esto ya era esperado para mí, no es como nada de que me llegó de sorpresa. Todo esto me lo he ganado con trabajo duro, entonces pues me siento normal, sin nervios, como para mi pelea no tengo nervios, nomás me siento relajado, confiado, porque todo el trabajo duro me llevó a estar aquí y he seguido trabajando duro y por eso todo eso me va a ayudar a ganar esa pelea el sábado también.
De acuerdo. ¿Y si nos puedes hacer nomás algo raro, extraño o simpático de cómo ha cambiado tu vida desde el momento que agarraste ese contrato en Dana White Contender Series hasta ahorita? Una cosita que nos puedas...
Que ya no comemos arroz y frijoles.
De acuerdo, man. Y finalmente para mí vas a debutar el evento más grande del fin del año, el evento por paga, pues, o sea, con la pelea principal es por título. ¿Esperas darnos 15 minutos de acción? Si puedes finalizar a tu oponente, ¿qué le puedes decir a tus fans que esperen este sábado cuando debutes en el octágono?
Que esperen una finalización, 100% seguro. Lo voy a finalizar. No importa qué round me tome, pero con toda la presión y todo lo que voy a llevar a esa jaula, como con la presión que le voy a dar a mi oponente y todo, lo voy a romper y luego lo voy a...
Santiago, it's been kind of a wild week for you, right? The late change in opponent, I guess, kind of lay out how things unfolded for you this week.
Yeah. This is a typical week, crazy. I have 10 years in the company. First time they're happy with me. But that's the fight business, right? These things happen, and it's okay, man. I'm happy to have somebody, to can punch in the face and take my money and back to home,
How soon did you know that Robbie was out and they were going to have to find somebody else?
They called me Sunday night. Sunday late night, I'm surprised. I surprised that he injured on Sunday night. I don't understand the communication, for probably the last days close to the fight, you're not training very hard, and I take a call from my manager, Oliver Assis, Sunday night. He told me that Sean Shelby called him in the right moment that he called me and said that Robbie feel pain and I need to be an MRI and he out of the fight. I don't know what kind of injury are. I don't know. I'm surprised. They're very, very close to the fight, but sometimes happen and, fuck it, I told you. I'm happy they put other body there, let's go.
I was going to say, what was your attitude? Just get me anybody? Like, I don't care who it is? Or did it matter who the opponent was?
No, I don't care. I'm training, For sure the style are different, but in the end of the day, I'm a fighter. I know that shit, I know to fight, man. And, brother, I waiting long time, to fight in December. My last fight is in May, and I want to fight in September. In my head, in my perfect world, my idea is fight in September and also fight in December, make 2 fights more this year. And I'm waiting for December, but they give me a good fight. I think I'm waiting, and now they changed the opponent in the last minute. I'm not going to take more time, They say, put somebody. And this is the option they give me, right? That's the option they give me. They say, well, we have this kid in 180 pounds. I am the weight. They say, okay, let's go. Let's do that.
Do you bother to watch tape or break them down? I mean, it's so close. Can you develop a game plan, or do you just say, I've been doing this, you know?
No, fuck it, man. I go to sleep. I'm happy that I don't need to cut the weight, and let's see what happens on Saturday, man. I'm fight dog, I know that shit.
I know the last two have been kind of heartbreaking, right, with split decisions. I mean, has that forced you to change anything? Have you had to address like your fighting style and maybe change anything?
I always try to improve, I always try to improve, I'm working hard in the gym and I try to improve. I have a lot of good partners, a lot of good coach in America Top Team. I'm still there, For sure, I'm pissed off. Both fights, I think they won. They're close. A lot of people think they won. But let's go see what happens this Saturday night. I'm ready to do my best.
Is there any danger of like a lack of, I don't say focus. I mean, everybody's dangerous, right? But Robbie Lawler's the legend, been around forever. Alex is a heck of a fighter, but not a legend like Robbie. Is it difficult to have the same motivation or focus with that change?
No, man, the motivation is still there. Motivation for me are, change the opponent, but the goal are the same. The goal are to finish the guy that stay in front of me. I don't care who are. It is no personal business, right? I need to smash whatever is in front of me, take my money back to home, continue working, and continue doing what I do, and this is the same shit, That's a good kid, man. He won 8 on the last 10 fights and have 4 victories in a row. And I think this is good for him. I think that's good for me, For when I beat this guy, I can prove to the world that one of the best welterweights.
Last thing for me, I mean, Alex, he's been some pretty entertaining fights. Are you seeing this as it's going to be a pretty entertaining scrap back and forth, or do you feel like you can dominate? How do we see this go?
No. I think that's going to be a fun fight, and that's going to be fun for the fans. I think they always my fight, they try to do, this is my style, realistic. My style is exciting, and I know this Saturday going to be a exciting match.
Santiago in front. You had recently sent a message to Canelo telling him to leave Lionel Messi alone.
Of course, man.
Canelo also, he ended up apologizing. I think he was
right.
So what did you make of Canelo's apology?
No, that's good, man. If he feeling that's apology, I think that's good. Everybody can do mistakes. If he make a mistake, it's good he recognize, right? But for sure, man, if touch with Messi, touch with all Argentina, we love this kid, Especially when you saw the guy is no respectful when you looking for Messi and you evaluate his career 10 years more, and I think he's the most respectful guy that I know, and that's people start a war, Mexican, Argentina, but they say, no, stop with that shit. I love Mexican, I have a lot of friends from Mexican, Brandon, a lot of people, fighters, a lot of people outside the fight, I work in the TV with a lot of Mexican guys. I work for Mexico, I love Mexico. Nothing personal with Mexico. Just only think they can do a stupid thing, and he recognized. And I think that's great. He recognized, and that's it. They're finished,
So do you think he overreacted? He was just upset that Mexico lost in the moment?
Maybe. I don't know, man. Soccer makes you pissed off. I understand that. I love soccer. I love soccer. I'm pissed off too, And also, I'm excited for my fight, but I'm so excited for Argentina Friday too, I'm going to do my weight early to go to watch the soccer game.
I was going to ask, how is Argentina right now?
Oh, that's
the
good.
World Cup and you fighting.
Man, that's amazing, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for everything we live in Argentina, People are super excited with the World Cup, but then also they give me a lot of good energy for the fight, and man, that's good things.
Santi, first time you speak in English. We're doing that. You're speeding up the weigh-ins on Friday. Have you seen any spot to see the match against Netherlands? The match is at 11. The weigh-ins is 2 hours earlier.
No, the weigh-ins is 9 to 11.
9 to 11, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm gonna try to do the first guy doing the weigh-ins and go to watching the soccer game. Start 11 Argentina.
Santi, tell me how important is the extra 3 pounds you pack to this fight?
I already in the weight, it's okay. I do my good weight good. I never had problem with the weight. And for sure, always we need to sacrifice, but, it's part of the game. It's no easy, but I never had problem, and I doing everything right. But when they give me this option, they not give me the other option, right? They told me this guy in this weight, I say, okay, let's do it. I'm okay. I'm eating good. The first time, I'm the 5 week and eating good, but that's good. I think they're gonna be better for me.
Hey, Santiago. I just wanted to ask you, you mentioned loving soccer, and just recently Dana came out and said that soccer was the least talented sport on earth. I'm just curious if you could respond to that.
Do what?
Dana said that soccer players are the least talented sport on earth.
Less talented? No, I don't think so. I don't think they are the less talented. There's no easy. You imagine this sport, all kids around the world try to be soccer player. Well, in a lot of countries they try, and they start competing very young, guys. They start to have 6, 7, 8 years. If you start with have 15, 18 years old, you probably not gonna stay in a really, really high level. I think it's competitive. Maybe it's other different kind of competitive. If you looking for us, how working we are for prepare for the fight, but I think that there's no easy.
Thank you.
Santiago, here in the back. All the way to the back.
Hey, brother.
I wanted to ask you, with the short notice change, is it more pressure, less pressure? Is it freeing that you're kind of just going to be able to go in there and fight without overthinking a game plan? How does the short notice change affect that mentality?
Are the same shit. Same. Change the game plan for sure. One guy is southpaw, other guy is orthodox. Change some things, but in the end of the day, it's the same shit. It's go inside to the cage and prove to myself what I can do, and that's it, man.
Thank you.
Santiago right here. Obviously, as a commentator, you get a good seat for a lot of the big fights. Next year is supposed to be very big for the UFC. Return of John Jones, maybe against Ngannou, rematch Pereira, Adesanya, Usman, Edwards. As a commentator, which fight are you most looking forward to talking about?
What is the fight that I most like to watch?
Yeah, and to commentate.
To commentate? Yeah. No, there are a lot of fights, man. I love this game, and this all the time, a lot of good fights, and a lot of surprise. Sent to the Leon Edwards with Usman, and always. I think, I really enjoy broadcasting the fights, and thank God the last time I working a lot, almost every show I'm calling the fights, and I start to study more fights. Before I studied just more my division. Now I'm studying all fights, and that's good, We learn more about the sport. We watching the other point, the fights, and I'm enjoying, man. I enjoy a lot of fights.
Argentina makes the final. Who do you want to see them play, France or Portugal?
Man, I like Portugal and beat these guys. That's going to be fun.
Because of Cristiano?
Yes.
Do you think that would be the biggest soccer game ever if Messi and Ronaldo played in the finals?
No, it doesn't matter. The finals, the better player is single. Soccer team are 11 people there inside to is different. The best ever are Messi, for sure. The best soccer player in the history is Lionel Messi. Cristiano Ronaldo for sure is good too, but if supposed to their play and Portugal won this, that doesn't matter, for this. When we're talking the best player is the single man, and the single man, in my opinion, are Lionel Messi.
Santiago, gracias por visitarnos un ratito durante este gran evento, el más grande para terminar el año.
Claro, gracias a vos.
Cuéntanos un poquito cómo ha estado el campamento, cambio de oponente, cómo está todo para este sábado para ti.
Nosotros nos preparamos, hacemos todo un trabajo estratégico. Obviamente, cuando tenemos un oponente asignado, es un deporte para la gente que tal vez no lo entiende tanto, un deporte donde lleva mucha estrategia, donde se podría decir que es un juego de ajedrez, y uno hace una preparación para eso. Cuando te cambian un oponente, cambian algunas cosas en cuestión de estrategia, pero cuando hay que poner en la balanza, por lo menos yo lo tengo que mirar, para mí es mucho más importante estar peleando y estar midiéndome contra otro atleta que también está en la misma situación, porque él tampoco sabía que iba a pelear conmigo, entonces el estudio creo que no estuvo de ninguna de las dos partes. Para mí es mucho más importante estar en acción con lo que hay, que son cosas que en el negocio de la pelea pasan, y enfrentar este desafío y mostrar que soy capaz de pasar por encima de estos desafíos también, ¿no? De estos cambios y de lo que se dio en esta pelea.
De acuerdo. Y un desafío que no tienes es lo de dar peso. ¿Qué ventaja es estar en una categoría un poquito más grande? O sea, casi la disciplina, matarte para dar el peso, ¿se siente más contento?
Sí, está bueno. La verdad que yo ya me venía cagando de hambre un poquito, venía bajando bien el peso y ahora me lo cambiaron, pero está bien. Ahora sí puedo comer un poco más en la semana de la pelea y estamos bien con el peso. Eso no es una presión.
Porque siempre te ves de buena actitud, o sea, sonríes, todo padre, pero te ves todavía más animado. Y me imagino que es porque no tienes que tener esa rutina.
Sí, obviamente que a pesar de que yo siempre soy bien, como vos dijiste, animado, siempre el corte de peso te va sacando energía, eso es inevitable, ¿no? Es fisiológico, por más buena voluntad que le ponga, cuando le sacas el combustible al cuerpo, el cuerpo lo siente, pero obviamente ahora tengo más combustible, tengo más energía, está buenísimo, y como te dije, este es un nuevo desafío, en un peso pactado, hay pelea que es lo importante, así que ahí vamos.
Claro que sí, man. Y con tu oponente, claro, te va a dar un duelo fuerte, va a estar dura. ¿Te da más ánimo todavía estar ahí enfrente de todos los fans? ¿Vas a estar en T-Mobile en comparación que fuera aquí en el Apex o algo así?
Me encanta, donde hay un título mundial en juego, estar en la cartelera estelar. La verdad que para mí estar representando a mi gente, una vez más es un orgullo. Trabajé mucho y como te digo, a pesar de los cambios que hubo, se toma el desafío como vino y vamos ahí arriba a dar lo mejor el sábado y a representar a toda la gente que viene creciendo en mí.
De acuerdo. Y finalmente para mí, hablaste un poquito sobre ello en el tema en inglés. Por favor, tu opinión con todo esto de Argentina y de Canelo y de Messi, la cosa.
Mirá, creo que Canelo se equivocó en criticar a Messi por una acción separada. De hecho, cuando vos ves el video no hay nada. Si vos me decís que la agarró y la prendió fuego, está bien, no voy a decir nada, no importa que sea Lionel Messi. O sea, si tuvo una actitud de respetuosa me va a callar la boca. Pero lo primero que yo hice cuando vi el Twitter, porque yo lo sigo a Canelo, ir a ver el video. Cuando vi el video no vi nada, al contrario, él corre la camiseta para no pisarla con el botín. Entonces eso como que me enojó. No sé si lo hizo para poder generar medios, si lo hizo para, no sé, para simpatizar más con los mexicanos o si lo hizo también porque estaba dolido por el partido, tal vez una reacción. No sé cuál fue el motivo, pero sí en el momento reaccioné porque lo que digo, cuando vos criticás a una persona en un medio público, más cuando es alguien que tiene tanto poder, vos tenés que evaluar. O sea, no por una acción separada le vas a criticar a una persona que tiene una carrera intachable. Messi es una persona muy respetuosa. Entonces, creo que en ese punto él se equivocó. Y por eso salí a decirlo. Tal vez si hubiera sido un jugador más controversial, un jugador que yo sé que puede haber hecho algo, tal vez no, pero de la manera que lo hizo y con Messi creo que ahí se equivocó y nada, lo marqué. Yo creo que mi reacción fue la misma de todos los argentinos, de salir a defenderlo a Leo. Yo aparte lo conozco y sé cómo es. Y nada, bueno, después se disculpó, aceptaba las disculpas y se terminó la historia.
Qué bueno, pues que vive el fútbol, vive
Claro.
el UFC y buena suerte el sábado.
Gracias. Y el viernes.